Warning. You are entering Open Lines Friday. For today anything goes. Thank you for your cooperation.
Listos pelos chingazos. Listos pelos chingazos.
I'm going to bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's going to be biblical.
Welcome to our show.
All right, this is King Bucho. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the Boxing Debate Arena. This is Open Lines Friday, so anybody can join. Everybody should join. The link is in the description for the Discord, and I'll be posting the link in the chat. And let's give a shout out to people already in the chat here: Arm, Padja, HJ92, Mark, T Baggins. Who else we have? Dark Hado. Who else is in here? Super Sardonic, Jacques Cousteau. Frankie Saints. All right, let's get this party started. Let's go to Discord. And yeah, anybody can join, guys. You know how it works. I know we've been out for a while. We've been busy. And also we've been working on a video. So, we have BDA here. BDA. Yo. I think he's setting up his mic. Let me just post the link in the chat. Not much has been going on. This Saturday, we have a PBC card. We have Fundora. He's coming back after a year almost. I think his last fight was April of last year. Now he's coming back. He's fighting, Cordale Booker. And you might be asking yourselves, who the hell is this guy? To be honest, I don't know. I checked his record. He's coming out of he has 4 knockouts in his last 5 fights. 4 knockouts wins in his last 5 fights. And he lost to who did he lose to? He lost to somebody in 1 round. And then this guy who beat him lost to Shiraz. So, but he's coming off a few wins, not against great opposition. So if I was a betting man, which I'm not, of course, it's unchristian. I say Fundora wins within 5 rounds. I'm not telling this is not advice, gambling advice. I would never do that. But if I had to bet, I would say within 5 rounds. This is not even an interesting main event. And then you also have the co-main event, Elijah Garcia against Terrell Gausha. We know who Gausha is. Garcia. Well,
Bro,
yeah.
fuck this bum card. I got to tell you guys about this good fighter real quick. So I want you guys to remember this dude. His name is Reito Tsutsumi, right? He's a southpaw. He was like competing at 60 kilograms in the amateurs in the IBA World Championships in 2021. He dominated Javier Herrera 3 years ago. And this guy, I'm sure you guys have probably heard of him. He's 17-0 with 15 KOs. Herrera is. He's calling out Shablack and all this, Shabum. And basically, he kind of does fight a little bit like Lomachenko. Great jab. And he was backing up Herrera all night. He was stepping to his chest because Herrera had the height and reach advantage and just dominated him on the inside. I mean, he absolutely crushed that guy. And he's going to make his pro debut in a couple months. So look out at 130 or 135 for Reito Tsutsumi. That guy's fucking good. And just look up the IBA boxing channel. There's a video of him fighting Herrera, and he blew that guy out of the water. I mean, he just schooled him. And Herrera's no bum, dude. So I just had to let you know about that, T50 boot show. And your delusions of the West collapsing are unfounded. Die.
All right. Who else is here?
Imagine you check out.
Yo. What the fuck is that? It was El
Imagine you check out that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, he called Dora a virgin, which is just stating a fact, I suppose. But I wanted to say about that card. Yeah, about that PBC card. It's really bad, man. It's and I told you earlier. There's Pro Box. The Pro Box card is actually better, even though people might say, "How is it better?" There's no names. I mean, there's no Fundora. I mean, it's got a fresh matchup and competitive matchups. You got Vladimir Hernandez, the upset king, half Ukrainian, half Mexican. I mean, he's full Mexican, but I mean that name Vladimir. He's fighting on the card, and then the main event is an undefeated Guatemalan. Pretty sure a lot of people from the Never Sobers Discord are going to enjoy that one. Mm-hmm. Taking on another undefeated guy, an Afro-Anglo. So 2 undefeated guys on the come up. See, that's what's so great about Pro Box, Bucho. It features guys that are past it, who can no longer get any dates on DAZN or some of the major networks. And it also features young up-and-comers. So Pro Box is really taking over ESPN Friday Night Fights as the marquee venue for bargain level fights or bargain price fights,
which is good for boxing, right? Because this some of these boxers, they get a chance to fight on I was gonna say on television. How would you say it? Like so for people to be able to see their fights, and that's what Friday Night Fights used to be, right? It used to give an opportunity for a lot of these up and comer boxers to show up, and also for boxers that maybe were on the decline, and they really weren't going to be fighting on HBO anymore or Showtime. They would fight on ESPN, and maybe they could make a comeback there. I think James Stoney did that. He started having some fights on ESPN, and then he fought on HBO when he fought Jirov.
Absolutely.
And so it's great. Pro Box. I mean, people should check it out. Support that.
I'd like to know who's behind it, though. Who's the matchmaker and so on and so forth, because you can tell they know boxing. They find these guys that aren't all that well known, but evidently they deliver big fights. I mean, just last year, I remember when we were doing I was doing my own version of year-end awards, which was the more obscure, gimmicky awards. And one of the awards was given to Pro Box for the quality fights that they put up. I mean, it was really it's a lot of fighter you contenders there.
It gives activity to certain fighters as well. And speaking of activity, Jesus Ramos is fighting again in the undercard of Fundora Booker. He's fighting Kevin Salgado, some guy from Argentina who's coming off 2 losses. And before those 2 losses, a draw. So, I don't know. This is definitely a tune-up fight. Jesus Ramos fought in the undercard of Benavides and Morel.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in February.
And he took on a shop-worn Jared Hurd.
Yep. So Jesus Ramos.
So now he's taking on a guy. I mean, like we were talking about earlier. Okay, the guy, at least he's staying active, right? But
yeah, he's active. This is Ramos. I mean, it's okay if he wants to fight a month and a half later or something like that. That's fine.
Right.
But the thing is, they're putting this fight before the co-main event. Like, he should be fighting in some other, like a televised card, a non-pay-per-view card. Now, they put him in as if he's some sort of pay-per-view attraction. this fight's supposed to be on a pay-per-view. It's not. It's a complete mismatch.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, the PBC used to have a big stable. They still got a couple of names there. This is the best they could do. Fundora against some guy, against some nobody. And you know what? The people are going to say, well, what about the zone? I mean, they had just had Berlanga versus some ex-convict that hadn't fought in 10 years or something like that. Yeah, that fight sucked too. What does that make this one better all of a sudden? I don't get it. You know what I mean? It's like, and by the way, the PBC is the one that's everyone's saying. We're going to get to the Samson Lukowicz thing. A lot of the PBC, there's still a lot of PBC supporters out there who claim that, well, you know, PBC is running things in America. This is running things in America. Fundora versus Rydell Booker, or whatever his name is,
right.
and Ramos against some Argentine. By the way, the Argentinian guy is the guy who lost to Vladimir Hernandez on Pro Box last year.
Oh.
And prior to that, he'd also lost to Joan Gonzalez, who got demolished by Tellez, the Cuban 154-pound power puncher. So, it's guys that have been around, but it's like this is the level of card you put on a PBC card.
Well, I mean, these people know about boxing, right? That this is what Lukowicz, I call him Lukowicz. Lukowicz said that, you know, that Saudi Arabia, they might have the money. The Sheikh pays his fighters a lot of, not his fighters, but, you know, those fighters over there, a lot of money. But he's a rookie. He doesn't understand boxing. As if the PBC understands boxing, you know, right? These guys who wasted $500 million, right? Now they don't even have any, they have very few boxing cards, and the ones that they have are pay-per-views. And now they're giving us this, and a shitty pay-per-view on top of that, like this card that we're just discussing right now. It's complete garbage. So, I mean, I don't know why Lukowicz believes that they understand boxing, and, you know, they're the experts. They're not. They're the problem.
Exactly. Absolutely. And the other, you know, it's true. It's well, you know, and then he says America is a place to be because, you know, they keep focusing on America as if it's the 1990s where, you know, was the mecca of boxing. And you're absolutely right. It's like, well, you know, Turki Al-Sheikh's a rookie. Again, in 10 years, what did the PBC manage to do? Because that's how long they've been around for.
That looks like, yeah,
said
they
wasted
rookie move there.
$500 million. Wasted $500 million, and now they're down to Amazon, which isn't even giving them money.
Right.
They got to pay out of pocket for everything, and they're holding 5 cards a year or less. Like last year, I think they only had 5. And then you look at some of the brains that they have over there, some of the geniuses. They have Espinoza, who ran Showtime Boxing to the ground. They've got Lukowicz, used car salesman. They got that other guy that we were making fun of in the build-up to Morel versus Benavidez, the guy who all of a sudden turns into a hick. What's his name? The guy with the glasses who looks like the Colonel from Boogie Nights. I forget his name. People in the chat are going to let us know probably. That's who they have over there. A bunch of big mouths who really, it seems, don't know what they're doing.
Old. On top of that, old. And I know, you know, you could say old, they have experience, but they don't. Obviously, they don't. Look at this shitty card. And they think this is premium shit. Primo shit. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, BDA. It's it looks terrible with PBC because you can see the writing on the wall because of how far down that business has gone. But Al Heyman he's refusing to throw in the towel, and it's going to be really. It's going to be one of the biggest disappointments in the sport if Sebastian Fundora and Dave Benavidez don't end up fighting the other champions in their division and basically do what he's allowed Tank Davis to do. It's going to be terrible, but hopefully these guys can get out. If Al Heyman can't put on these fights with the other champions, then hopefully they can get out of their deals, because that's happened with guys like Wilder and Ruiz and Adames. But you know, they were the caveat to that is that Wilder and Ruiz. Well, there's many things, but Wilder and Ruiz were very inactive before they got out of their contracts. So, you know, we just hope that doesn't happen with these guys because they're too good to be frozen out like this.
I mean, I heard that Fundora is still talking about Spence. Or maybe they asked him about the Spence fight, and he said that he's still interested in that. Is anybody really interested in watching Fundora fight Spence Jr.?
No. Nobody, well, as far as I'm concerned, nobody was interested from the very start. I mean, it made no sense to begin with. Like, Spence almost got killed by Crawford, and then he takes a year out. He takes a year off and was going to jump up another division and fight a guy who's much bigger than him. I mean, it never made any sense to begin with. And I don't understand why Fundora would even entertain that fight unless Al Heyman or PBC or Lukowicz, or all three of them, are saying to him behind the scenes, hey, we want to make this fight, try and talk about it. I mean, if they really go, as far as I'm concerned, Spencer's retired and we're just waiting for the announcement. But if they really do talk about making that fight, then Fundora is just going to get frozen out again because Fundora is actually the unified champion of the division, which in my opinion is the best in boxing, and he's not fighting. It's crazy.
Well, I want to say something about the PBC because again, this is only from what I hear on Twitter. Some people are still claiming that, because Benavides a couple of weeks ago, when after the Morrell fight, when they asked him about Beterbiev Bivol, he said, "Well, Vegas in the United States, that's where I'm at now. That's where the place to be." And I'm thinking, why? If you're fighting in a casino venue, how many people in today's economy are going to be paying to go watch you in Las Vegas? It's not cheap. Second of all, people could say, yeah, this is the other argument I hear here. Well, who else is putting on big fights other than the PBC? Successful pay-per-views. And I'm thinking, well, let's count that. How many successful pay-per-views have they had? The Crawford versus Spence one, supposedly they did 500,000 pay-per-views. No, 600, right? Something like that. Which again, I question the numbers because they're never put out directly by either the PBC or Showtime, which was involved in the fight. So you can only wonder what the true numbers are, what the real ones are. People will also bring Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis. First of all, that involved Ryan Garcia, who was with Golden Boy, and the number being thrown around is 1.2 mil pay-per-views. But again, that wasn't put out directly by Showtime nor the PBC. So what are the real numbers? You have to assume you probably have to deduct. So I'm thinking, okay, so they had two successful pay-per-views in 2023, had nothing in 2024, no successful pay-per-views in 2024. This year again, they're putting on pay-per-views left and right. Meanwhile, you have Top Rank, whose contract is about to end. After 50 years, they're finally hitting a snafu where they're unsure about where they're going. You got Frank Warren, you got Eddie Hearn over at the Zone. You got promotional outfits who have regular dates where they can actually televise their fights or at least stream them. PBC has none of that. They're paying out of pocket on Amazon. So okay, so you had two successful pay-per-views in 2023, which I question the numbers as well. That's it. Well, the other ones are consistent. Meanwhile, the PBC only had two slight successes. I mean, how is that a success?
And I'm just gonna have to disconnect and reconnect with my phone. But the question for me, it's not are the pay-per-views a success all the time, because they're not. I mean, no business has 100% pay-per-view successes. I mean, maybe Eddie Hearn, when he was with Sky, he had a nice string where they had successes all the time. But that one of the reasons, in fact, the main reason, is that the UK is a lot smaller and their pay-per-views are a lot cheaper. But the problem is that PBC, they rely only on pay-per-views because they don't do any other shows, and it's just how their business is dwindling so badly because the amount of shows they do has gone down, the amount of fighters they are able to headline shows with is going down because they let Wilder and Ruiz go. So yeah, they would have had some successes, but clearly it wasn't enough, even including with Tank and Garcia, because I mean their business has just gone down since. I mean Tank should have been a far more active star after that, but he wasn't. In fact, if anything, he's been extremely inactive. It's crazy.
I have to harken back to that article we read a couple of, I want to say months ago, maybe a year ago. Jimmy and myself were reading a 2-part article from Ring Magazine, which highlighted the rise and the fall of HBO boxing. And again, one of the things that they highlighted about HBO's success was that not only did they have a war chest, a lot of money, but they also had people that knew boxing. So now the big deal is, or the big news or expectation is that the Sheik is going to save boxing and continue riding the momentum that they've created in the past 2 years or 2.5. But they're going to need people that know boxing, because it's one thing to have the money. PBC had the money, like Butcher keeps saying, $500 million. But Al Heyman, apparently the rumor was he wanted to control everything. He didn't want to delegate power. So he's apparently a Harvard degree, good businessman over in the music industry. What do I know about that, right? But boxing is a completely different spectacle than the music industry. So he didn't know what he was doing. He refused to allow people to have their say. So with the Sheik, he can't make the same mistake. He appears to know boxing. He's a self-professed boxing fan. Again, some people have casted aspersions on that or doubt how big a fan he is. But he appears to be doing the correct matchmaking. Or am I wrong here, fellas? What do you think about the Sheik? Is he making the right moves as it pertains to matchmaking?
I don't know. I think he's wrong. Didn't he want the Francis and Fury fight? And then what about the Canelo versus Crawford? These are fantasy fights from him, and those are, no offense, but those are dog shit fights.
You think Crawford-Canelo is a dog shit fight? I don't know. I think Sobers would disagree with you.
That's a dog shit fight, let's be honest.
Okay, it's a mismatch, I would say, but in terms of profits, it's going to generate a lot of the money. So, in that...
Translation, Canelo is going to generate the money. Like, let's be real. What the fuck does Crawford even generate?
Do you have a parrot in the background?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. We have a new pet bird in my bed. I'll mute my mic when I'm talking. Yeah. After I'm talking.
As you can tell, he's Mexican, by the way.
Yeah. I was going to say... I was going to say about this fight, it's a mismatch. But Crawford, okay, does he have a lot of fans? I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, he has a lot of fans, but the question is, does he have paying fans?
Okay, but this is what we know, though. This is what we know. He's considered a pound-for-pound boxer, top 5 pound-for-pound. Some people still have him as the number 1 pound-for-pound boxer, right? He's a 154-pound champion, and some believe that he can do it, that he can pull it off, that he can move up in weight and defeat Canelo. So there's a lot of intrigue in this fight, enough to generate a bunch of money. A lot of money.
Enough for him to finally be positive in an event?
Yeah. I think so, yeah. A lot of people are talking about this. A lot of people. I'm not saying I agree with this fight. I'm just telling you what I've seen, and I see a lot of interest. I don't know, you guys in the chat, what do you think about this fight? In terms, not if it's a mismatch or not, like I'm talking about whether or not it's going to be a big fight. It's going to attract a lot of money.
Hey, Bucho,
yeah.
Can you lower my volume on your Discord? Because when I hear myself on YouTube, it's way too distorted myself.
Yeah, I lowered it a bit. I'm going to lower it more. But anyways, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I agree with Amok that, okay, you could construe that Canelo-Crawford fight. No, well, come on. I don't like when people change their names and now they're like, hey, address me by my new name. No, you're Amok. What's the matter with Amok? It's too close to anus. I don't know. Anyway, the point is that
what are we thinking here?
All I'm saying is what I hear, man. The bird obviously agrees with me in the background, but I wanted to say this. Look, okay, that's one example. Let's say I can see that Crawford Canelo is a gimmick fight. It's stupid. He still made a whole bunch of other good fights, is what I'm saying. So from that end, whether it's him or somebody around him that's doing the matchmaking, seems like they're doing a good job so far. I haven't seen too many.
Yeah, that's a fair argument, knowing that the undercard will be most likely stacked, and then they might have like a music video in between the event. Or not a music video, but like a Super Bowl, of those concerts.
Super Bowl halftime. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, nobody cares about those. But yeah, they probably
think they're ever going to hold.
They probably will.
Well, one thing I do.
Well, just real quick, skip that concert. Do you think they'll ever do that and maybe replace it with some sort of like an erotic show or something? Something got more O'Reilly.
Well, they kind of did that with some rap shit. Remember on one of the events? I think it was like the Usyk versus Fury or something. They're playing like
There's no question. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say there's no question they overdo it. And I mean, Turkey, he has so much money. It doesn't matter what he puts in there. He thinks it's going to be good. I mean, having Eminem do like a mini concert there was just so pointless. But these are all hopefully. These are all learning curves, and he'll be putting on. He'll just be understanding he doesn't need to put 1,000 different layers on top of boxing. Like good fights, spaced out evenly, and that's it. Hopefully.
Well, to his defense, I'd rather have that autistic mini concert than them yap for a whole entire fucking hour. So that's one thing he's actually been doing good, where they're kind of copying like the Pride FC like blueprint. And they're going more straight to the point and, trying to minimize the backstory and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a good point because that's what they really should do in theory. You want to create a story, do it with a preview show. Once we're actually watching the telecast, I don't want to see a video package shouldn't exceed 5 minutes, in my opinion. Maybe even that's too much. I don't know, Bucho, you're more conservative with time. issues and constraints. But I mean, yeah, and I understand they want to sort of maybe fill in the casual fan, like, hey, who this guy is. But if somebody already bought a pay-per-view, I doubt that they're a casual. You know what I mean? So they should, the last Riyadh season card with the Bivol Battery of 2, they moved that along pretty quick.
Yeah, that thing was smooth. That thing was butter smooth.
Yeah, I think they understood. And I remember the HBO pay-per-views back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I think they were pretty okay. They did some talking, sure. You know, they went down, the commentators gave their take, and then they went upstairs. And what's his name again? James Brown. Not that one, but another one. Yeah, and so that, it went pretty okay, man. That was, I mean, maybe they did talk a little bit too much, but not to the point where.
But you know what's the difference is?
Yeah.
You wanted to hear what they had to say. You wanted to hear what Larry Merchant had to say. You wanted to hear even George Foreman, as crazy as he was. He would make some good points. And then when they had people upstairs, it would be, like you said, James Brown, maybe Roy Jones or Emmanuel Stewart. You wanted to hear what those guys had to say. I hate to say it, but Sergio Mora, you know, I'm not all that compelled by he was. I'm interested, don't get me wrong, but I'm not compelled. Like, oh, shit, I got to hear what Sergio Mora has to say next.
Right. Yeah.
Chris Mannix and all those people.
Yeah,
like,
you're
I'm sorry,
right.
man.
Yeah. Larry Merchant was like, oh, shit, like this guy, he knows something, right? Then you have, Roy Jones, Foreman. Go ahead.
Can sorry, can you guys hear me okay? Because I'm on my phone now.
Yeah, you're okay. You're good.
Oh, cool. Yeah, the presentation teams that these companies are getting in, like DAZN, they're just not very good. I mean, I don't see how Eddie Hearn, aside from being extremely out of touch, could hire the team that he did. And I don't know how Jim Lampley and Max Kellerman have not been on the floor, and Roy Jones have not been numero unos in terms of new guys to be recruited, because especially since HBO left. But yeah, boxing's never going to go back to how it was, because I mean the teams, first of all, everybody's become a little bit more biased since the sport has become a bit more fragmented, and a lot of these analysts, even if they do know their stuff, like there's just too many people who are a little bit sensitive, because back in the days, as offensive as Larry Merchant was, like you guys say, people wanted to hear him talk because he knew his stuff. But these days, people are a little bit too sensitive, and they don't want to hear edgy commentary, and therefore it becomes a bit more dull, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. We might not even go back to like those days, of course, but I mean, shit, we gotta criticize what's going on right now. By the way, Rapak Stroking Company, thank you for your membership subscription. He says, I hope that the singer is Carol G. Who the fuck's that?
Not sure. Don't know who he's referring to.
If it's a joke or.
Gonna have to Google that.
Carol G.
I'm Googling it right now.
What do you got?
Oh. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I just saw her. She's a Colombian singer.
I gotta check this out.
I don't know why.
What do you guys?
In some of the pics I'm looking at, her hair looks oily. Like she just dipped it in olive oil or something. That's weird.
She might take a knee.
Yeah, she's good.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think of this Benavidez Bivol situation? It's looking like it could be another Cold War. I mean, talking about sport going backwards, it looks like this fight may not happen, and it's all down to. It's not down to. I don't know if it's down to the fighters. I think it's down to the promoters.
But I don't understand the Bivol. Okay, well, what ground does Bivol? Excuse me, what ground does Benavidez and his team have to be making demands? I mean, this just reminds me of the Canelo thing all over again. Making demands from the A side. We want the TV rights. Making offers that are non-existent. That the money's not there. I think now people are starting to wake up with this whole Canelo Benavidez thing. That it wasn't Canelo's fault that this whole thing happened.
Well,
I think people wanted to believe that.
Well, I disagree with that. I do think Canelo ducks Benavidez pretty shamelessly, but I've moved on from it because the fight's never going to happen. But I've never said Benavidez's team deserves no blame, and yeah, they are at fault here. But the biggest problem I have is with what Turkey said about a month ago. He said I will not bid on this fight. So even though Al Heyman is the one who has hurt boxing by having his fighters say wrong side of the nonsense, it seems like Turkey is more to blame here because he's saying Bivol better stay with me because I think
something
it's
happened with
paydays,
your
which is
phone.
true.
Something
But
happened with your phone.
he's saying I will not do business with Al Heyman's team, and that's a huge problem.
Hey, Fight Sport, are you on your speakerphone or something? Because we're having a hard time.
Now
hearing
it's
you.
fine. No, for a second you sounded fucking weird, but now you're okay.
Sorry, can you hear me a bit better now?
Yeah, you're
Now
better.
it's
I don't
better.
know.
Yeah,
it was just for a few seconds. All right, we got
Sorry,
you.
sorry about that, guys. But I think I guess the point is Al Heyman's the one who has hurt boxing for years by having his fighters and champions play wrong side of the street and all that nonsense. But it seems like Turkey is doing that because he's saying, I will not bid on this fight.
Well, I mean, he's offering big money. Where else is Benavidez going to get that money from? Why?
Well, I don't know. Lukowicz said that, this is America, like the fight has to happen here just because it's America. And then he said that, they're experienced in a way and Sheik is a rookie. I don't know what the fuck that means.
Didn't Lukowicz already admitted that, well, he stated that they were offering big money to fight Callum Smith, while Bivol and Berturbev, have their trilogy. So I don't see what the problem is, all this talk about being a Vegas fighter, that just sounds like I don't know, like an elaborate duck.
You know what? And this is what we definitely. Talked about. This is why they had. Maybe Virtuoso. What you're saying makes sense. Maybe this is why Benavidez had that fight in Vegas against Morrell. And after the fight, he was talking about how he loved being in Las Vegas because they told him after the fight you have to say this, like you're part of Las Vegas now, because this is how they're gonna promote this guy now, right? He's the face of Las Vegas or some shit.
Bucho, you got to check the scorecards too. I don't know, man. They look a little too wide.
Well,
in that Morrell fight.
I'm definitely not defending Benavidez, saying the fight has to be in the US. The fact that he left the event before Bivol and Beterbiev had their fight, and him saying I'm loyal to Al Heyman, I'm definitely not defending that. But I just don't understand why Turkey wouldn't. Why Turkey is saying categorically, I will not bid on this fight. It's like, why don't you just say flat out, I've offered Benavidez the fight. He's turned it down because he wants to stay in Las Vegas. It's just, it seems like they're all guilty here. Al Heyman, Benavidez, Lukowicz, etc. I don't think Bivol has any fault in this, but it seems like, again, Turkey is the one who's saying everything has to be on my terms. And it's like, well, then you're kind of doing what Al Heyman did for many years.
Well, but the difference is he's offering up money and he's managed to get a bunch of promoters together, whereas the PBC, they were truly my side of the street or nothing. And sometimes they would even sabotage fights just so that they wouldn't work with other promoters. Whereas the Turkey Al Sheikh is bringing promoters together and paying the fighters good money for it.
Are they on equal footing? Are they on equal footing?
Of course, the PBC and the Sheikh, of course not.
Well, that's okay. So what's the problem here? Like PBC's acting as if they're the big, we own the United States or something, right? We can make big bucks here in Las Vegas. I mean, no, you don't even have a fucking network.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because again, I only heard about this. I didn't actually hear the interview. So people, please fill me in. Did Lukowicz just recently say that he wants the fight, the Bivol or Benavidez fight to go to the first bits because he wants to be loyal to the WBC or something akin to that?
Yes, he said that. I think he said it to Sean from Fight Hype that I forget. I keep forgetting how to pronounce his last name. So yeah, he did say it has to be in the US. We go to purse bids, etc. And Turkey again, Lukowicz, I don't trust the guy. Of course, I don't trust any of these promoters. But if Turkey were just to say, okay, we'll go to purse bids and I'll bid the highest amount, then easy. But he's not saying that. He's saying I will not bid on this fight. Which again, I'm not relieving Benavidez or Lukowicz or Al Heyman of their issues because Turkey has the most money, but he's also saying, well, I won't bid on this fight when he could easily outbid Al Heyman. And so it's a little strange.
Why would Lukowicz say we're loyal to the WBC when the whole narrative was that the WBC was to blame for not enforcing the Canelo fight? That's the thing. That's the thing I'm confused over. I mean, it's almost as if it's almost as if they're loyal to the WBC because the WBC went along with what they wanted, which was to never actually maybe fight Canelo. You remember when they gave him an extension? Remember when they told him? They gave him 3 weeks or something like that to decide whether he was going to go up to light heavyweight or not. And then they gave him an extension on that. I don't know. It's just weird. The whole Benavides side is bizarre.
Well,
Yeah,
BDA,
they keep changing the story. That's what is happening.
Again, I'm not saying that it was all down to Canelo. I just felt it was mostly down to him. But I never understood this narrative that Benavides' team never wanted to fight Canelo. I mean, that's the biggest payday in boxing. So I felt, of course, they wanted it. And again, in my opinion, Canelo didn't want it. But as far as the Cowick saying we're loyal to the WBC, I think the WBC is guilty here as well. I mean, we all know they're corrupt, but I think the WBC is kind of in a hurry to strip Bivol, or at least to enforce Benavides, because they don't like the attitude coming from Turki al-Sheikh. So that's why I used the term Cold War earlier, because I think this is down to the promoters and the sanctioning bodies butting heads.
That's precisely why it makes no sense. Yeah, but that's precisely why there's bizarre that Benavides' side never really pressed their advantage with the WBC, saying, hey, we're number one, mandate that fight. But now all of a sudden they want to mandate the Bivol fight. They didn't want to do it with Canelo, but here they're more than willing to press to the WBC to say, hey, listen, forget the Beterbiev trilogy, it's our turn. They never did it with Canelo.
Yeah, they never did.
You know what's funny about that, BDA, is that a few weeks ago before that fight, Benavides told Ariel Helwani that he won't get in the way of a trilogy.
Oh, is that right?
Really?
Yeah, he literally told him that. Like, who am I to interrupt that whole thing? If it's 1-1, and there's a third fight, then I shouldn't get in the way. Just paraphrasing here, but I don't know what all of a sudden what made him change his story. And matter of fact, I never even heard him say anything about that after the WBC ordered that mandatory, which they're not even. It's not even their turn. Based on what Lukowitz said to Bernardo Pilati, that he had a conversation with, Oscar Oliveri, the WBO chief, saying that there's an order of that has to be, abide by, in terms of the mandatory. First is the IBF, which is Michael Eifert at WBO. I think that's Callum Smith, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. And then the WBC, they're third in line. So they're kind of like skipping the queue, if you ask me. So rather than just wait for that whole trilogy to settle, have a tune-up fight in between that. They can stay busy and don't worry about anything. You still get that fight.
Yeah, that's a good point. Get acclimated to 175 more, because the last guy he fought was a super middleweight as well, not that long ago. So get a good payday, stay busy, which is stay busy, which is something that they haven't done with the PBC. With Benavides over the PBC. I mean, he fought once in 2024, twice in 2023, which is I guess it's becoming the norm, but it's still quite inactive. Once in 2022. Hey, why not take advantage of it? Go out there and fight Callum Smith. It would make for a good fight too, seeing as how Callum Smith looked against what was his name again? The British guy. Anyway, why not make that fight? But again, it's just weird how the Benavides side continuously flip-flopped their stories in the past year. I just don't trust him. I like Benavides as a fighter. I want to see him fight. He's mostly TV, but his team, it's a completely different thing.
By the way, thank you. I want to thank Arxel Esqueda Sanchez for his donation via Buy Me a Coffee. He says, What other fighter do you hear with this much bullshit when it comes to making a fight?
I mean, that's an interesting thing. It's true. I know you hear Jerron Ennis last year got a lot of flack for his ducking, and Brian Norman for not wanting the Ennis fight, and then he's gonna end up fighting in an undercard against non-discrete opposition. But the Benavides one, I suppose it's the most high-profile one because it involved the biggest name in boxing, Canelo Alvarez. But again, there's so many things, false offers from Benavides' side. Then them demanding TV rights when they were negotiating with Canelo, while Canelo was still technically with Eddie Hearn. I mean, it's just it's all head scratching. Makes you want to scratch your head and go, what are they thinking?
Well, I agree with you. I'm to the guy who donated. Yeah, Benavides' team. They're again. I don't trust Lukowicz just because I believe Canelo ducked the fight. I don't think Canelo wanted to do the fight regardless. But Benavides, I don't like that he's saying the fight has to be in the US. And I've been waiting since he said that. I've just been waiting to see what actually happens. And if he holds true to that, if he says has to be in the US, no ifs, ands, or buts, and he turns down an offer from Turki al-Sheikh, then There's no defense for that. But he hasn't turned down anything yet. And I think a lot of this is just posturing, because as much as Al Heyman and PBC fighters are guilty of ruining, unifications and big fights in the past, all promoters to an extent have done this. So, like, there was a time when Al Heyman was giving us welterweight unifications back to back, and it was Eddie Hearn who had his champions like Kell Brook and Tony Bellew ducking their entire division. So I think to an extent all promoters are guilty of this. So that's why I'm just that's why I'm not completely throwing Benavidez under the bus yet, even though he said some weird things.
Could be.
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me? You mean to tell me that Al Heyman was willing to let Keith Thurman unify with Kell Brook?
It took a long time. No, he didn't even want that.
It was a long time ago, but it was Kell Brook who was ducking all of the top champions. And Keith Thurman, up until, I've got my issues with Thurman, but at the time, Thurman was fighting the best guys back to back, and Kell Brook wasn't.
Wait.
Well, hold on. Kell Brook won.
How can that be when he ended up fighting Spence?
Sean Porter.
Well, he fought Spence because Spence was his mandatory.
No. He won the championship from Sean Porter in the U.S.
Oh yeah.
Yes, but he didn't do anything after that.
Well, he fought Golovkin and Spence. So,
well, this is the past, so I'm not harping on about. I just brought that up as an example to say that Eddie Hearn has, protected his champions in the past, like Al Heyman has. So that's why, and also Errol Spence.
No, I don't think so. I don't.
Hold on. Let him finish.
Well, just the last point I was going to make is that we can all criticize Errol Spence for things that he said, but he is the one who, like, as a PBC guy, and he was really the face of the PBC, he did go to Al Heyman. He said, make this Terence Crawford fight. So PBC fighters can step out of their comfort zones. It's not impossible.
Well, just to touch on the Kell Brook to touch on the Kell Brook being protected by. I don't see throwing him in there against a monster like Triple G, 2 divisions above. I don't see that as being protected. I just want to point that out.
Well, that's a little bit different than what I was saying. I was saying he was being protected from the other welterweights. Yes, he took like a monstrous challenge and everything, but that was for a bigger payday. Whereas when it came down to fighting unifications with the other welterweights, he didn't do that.
Yeah, but then he fought Spence.
Yeah, and Keith Thurman actively ducked Spence in their own stable.
Yeah, Thurman did duck Spence, but Thurman did fight before the Spence fight was on offer. He fought Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, and Robert Guerrero back to back, and Thurman was doing everything right up until he started making money. Then he turned into a diva. But Kell Brook was kind of, again, I don't want to harp on about this. It's just Al Heyman isn't the only guy who's had his fighters, ruin big fights. It's mostly him, but it's not.
It was mostly Al Heyman because
I think Al Heyman
comes to my recollection. I believe it was him that pulled out Deontay Wilder out of a fight with Anthony Joshua back in 2019.
Oh, yeah.
And Pavetta.
Yeah, we all remember that.
Suspect.
Yeah, there have been exceptions with PBC guys like Stephen Fulton saying, "Hey, look, I don't want a rematch Figueroa. I don't want Inoue." And the whole Spence Crawford thing, though, I don't think it was Spence. It came down to a bunch of things. 2023 was going to be the last year for Showtime, so they were trying to make the big fights happen as quickly as possible in order to have that as an audition for whichever network they were going to try to go to next to shop their brand and say, "Hey, look at the big fights we put on last year." So, and then of course Crawford saying, Crawford remembers he said, "I want to see the books from the PBC, see what type of money they're working with," and they didn't want to do that.
Underrated Aliyah Omen, by the way.
If I can just, I wanted to address a different thing, but I just looked up Kell Brook's box rec, and it strikes me that he was just kind of, after he beat Porter, relatively active in trying to secure a bigger fight, and then he fought Triple G after a string of non-heralded opponents. But I'm pretty sure he fought Triple G because he couldn't get any other fight. And he stepped in on short notice after the Eubank Jr. fight fell through. So I find that it kind of strange to accuse Kell Brook of ducking.
Well, Well, again, I'm not saying Kell Brook was
Jones. After he had a poor performance against him. In general, Brook has been pretty eager. He was also trying to get the Amir Khan fight way back then.
Yeah, I'm not saying just because I use the word ducking. I'm not saying that Kell Brook was a coward because again, he fought, like you guys said, he fought Triple G when the middleweights didn't want to fight him. So hats off to him for that. I'm just talking about there were opportunities for him to. I mean, again, I blame Eddie Hearn for this. There were opportunities for him to fight the other champions, and Eddie Hearn, just for the viewers who don't know, Eddie Hearn didn't have a massive budget when he joined Sky. They gave him free reins to do anything, but he didn't again have a massive budget for it, so he couldn't afford these other champions to come to the UK, and he didn't want Kell Brook, because he was a star fighter for him at the time, to go to the US. So that's why I believe these fights fell through, wrong side of the street kind of thing, similar to what Al Heyman's done. So I'm just saying all promoters to an extent do this.
But he fought Porter in the US. That's how he got the belt.
But he was prepared to let him go to the US to fight for it. But when it came to defending and potentially losing it, he didn't want to let him do that.
I mean,
let me ask you a question. Did Heyman hold on? Did Heyman contacted Eddie Hearn for Floyd Mayweather to unify with Kell Brook for Undisputed back in 2015? No, he fought Berto.
No, that didn't happen.
So then, what is the point of saying that? It's
and
just
he fought
like
Spence, and then
it's
he
just
fought
hearsay.
Spence, and he fought Spence later. So I don't understand why he would be afraid of. I mean, he fought Spence after the Golovkin. You know, if they wanted to protect him, if they wanted to protect him, he goes back down in weight after fighting Golovkin, and then he fights somebody else, like on some unknown guy. But no, he fought Spence.
Anyway, to rehash a different timeline, I kind of jumped in because you were talking about the Benavidez thing, and we've talked about this, I think, to death. But I just wanted to reiterate, I think Benavidez had a chance to sign with Matchroom around the time Canelo was going to fight Bivol and the third Triple G fight, and he re-signed with the PBC instead, which I always thought was very strange. It doesn't make any sense in hindsight because you were just leaving money on the table, right? I still don't get why he re-signed with them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably because Al Heyman offered him lots of money. I mean, these guys, they'll sign with whoever can give them the most amount of money. So Al Heyman probably guaranteed him that. So,
but he had a fight with Canelo lined up. That makes no sense.
Well, I'm not in the negotiation room, so I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas.
Well,
I mean, it just strikes me that he left money on the table just to ruin his own profile.
Why still we?
Maybe he did. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, again, to Benavidez, I strongly don't like after the Tank Davis Roach disaster. If you're a PBC fan, there were a lot of people saying that he was just another PBC hype train that got exposed, and Benavidez is next. I strongly don't believe Benavidez is going to end up like Jamal Charlo or Wilder or Spence. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's better than those guys. But yeah, he has come out with the same, I'm loyal to PBC thing. I'm not just because I'm being critical of other promoters. I'm definitely not defending Benavidez of everything.
I mean, the issue is you brought up Tank. He's not even a hype job. He's a fighter who we watched get worse, in real time. That's not a hype
true.
job. He's spoiled goods.
All right.
What the fuck y'all talking about, man?
We're talking about the hype job, Tank Davis.
Oh, you're talking about Giovanni Davis?
yeah, Giovanni Davis, yeah. What else can we talk about? Do you guys want to talk about Tank Davis for real?
No. I mean, you guys already broke down that fight between Fedor and Cordell Booker.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Give us your thoughts, man.
Man, I don't even know much about Cordell Booker, because
nobody knows.
God damn, you spent all this time waiting for a Spence fight just to jerk you around,
right?
And now you got to pick up this tune-up fight, which I think I'm expecting him to win. So I expect him to win by stoppage. To make a statement here.
Yeah, this Booker guy, I've never heard of him. He apparently lost to Ammo Williams. But like, this is another example of the PBC holding a belt hostage. Like, as soon as they want it, we went from a fighter who was active in Tim Tszyu, fighting the best opposition, to this guy going on the shelf in the middle of his prime for 2 years.
Yo, what the fuck happened? Just came back. Nobody's talking.
Everybody just went out for a second.
What the fuck? Gee, immediately when I left.
I think this is really telling of how much people do really want to talk about David Benavidez and Tank Davis. I mean, where's Mirage?
No, don't please don't. Don't do it.
I'm just saying, nobody's fucking saying shit. Come on.
Well, let's. Sorry for bringing up Tank Davis, guys. I didn't want to. I didn't want to go into a tangent about it. I didn't. That was not. It was not my intention to go into a tangent about him. As far as Fundora, I mean, it's typical. Unfortunately, PBC matchmaking where, this Booker shouldn't be in there. I'm very interested in Fundora as far as what he can do, because even though, in my opinion, he only beat Tim Tszyu because Tim Tszyu was blind for most of the fight, I still think Fundora's got a lot of potential. But the problem is that he's the unified champion, and yet nobody's talking about him because he's been inactive, and it's all because they hung on to the Spence fight, which was a fantasy from the beginning. So I'm excited to see Fundora back, but I just really, really hope they don't hold him back from the guys like Xander Zayas or Virgil Ortiz, because this division is super stacked, and it's just a placeholder fight, unfortunately.
We're not going to get any of these fights anytime soon. I think they're going to hold on to the belts. They're going to hog them up. The classic PBC, they don't have, they have nothing. They have nothing going on for themselves. All they have is Tank Davis, which he needs 2 fights to take care of Lamont Roach, which is ridiculous. You have David Benavidez getting on a flight in the middle of a fight that he never intended to even talk to Turkey or anybody about negotiating a fight with Bivol, so he left. And we're not going to get much going. We're down to how many fights did they have last year? These guys, they could have made Fundora anybody. They could have made Fundora. They could have made Fundora fight. How many fights did we get last year? Did we see 5?
Yeah.
And then how long has it been since Fundora stepped in the ring?
1 year. April.
Okay,
almost.
And what the fuck? The sanctioning bodies aren't putting any pressure on him to defend any of those titles. But as soon as the day after Bivol wins the rematch with Beterbiev and becomes undisputed, he has a mandatory like the second he wins.
Yeah, that's how IPF, right?
Yeah. Well, the sanctioning bodies, we all know they're inconsistent as hell. So and just to respond to what Don said, I'm hopeful that Benavidez did talk to Turkey because they did take a photo together for whatever that's worth. But I completely agree. The sanctioning bodies are at fault for this, and mostly it's Al Heyman Errol Spence was never going to fight, in my opinion. So we completely blame him for this. I will say this: the PBC did put on Tim Tszyu against Bakram Murtazaliev, and they did put on Tim Tszyu versus Sebastian Fundora. So there is a chance. Yeah, I hear your concerns. They may hold the belt hostage. Look
at where they had Tim Tszyu fight, bro. They had him fight at a gymnasium in Florida. What the fuck was that?
Yeah,
they could have had him. The PBC would have done right by him if they had him fight in Australia, where they had a big crowd. They could have built it as a pay-per-view and gotten 60,000 pay-per-view buys in America, and then more pay-per-view buys in Australia. Could have been a bigger thing.
I mean, like if Tim Tszyu got murked by Murtaza Aliyev in front of 60,000 Aussies, I think that might have ended Australian boxing.
He didn't know. He didn't know that. He didn't know he was going to get fucking.
I know.
murdered.
I was just making a joke.
Yeah, of course.
There's no.
But think of the money that. Listen. He could have George Cambosted. He could have just gone to Australia, had a fight there, done a rematch, done whatever, made more money. Now he made shit money. He's got 2 losses. It's unfortunate. The guy who beat him because of circumstances that were out of their control. They should have stopped the fight. It was all. I think it was a fucking setup. It smells like a setup to me. For
Are you talking about Fundora?
I disagree.
No,
I disagree. I disagree with this.
How could you take out a fighter last minute and replace him with the 7-foot fucking?
Okay, I thought you were talking about Murtaza Aliyev.
No. Replace him with the 7-foot fucking looking fucking freakishly tree looking motherfucker. And you've been training. You've been training for this. You've been training for. You've been training for.
Can I jump? Can I jump? Sorry, can I jump in? Because I just very quickly, I did videos on this last year. I started my channel in January, and I did videos on this last year about how I felt Tim Tszyu was set up by Al Heyman. However. And look, I'm the biggest critic of Al Heyman, and I'm a huge fan of Tim Tszyu, but they did give him they gave him a title fight and a rebound fight. So I can't criticize Al Heyman the way you do, Dom, because in this particular situation, because they gave him a title shot after that.
But bro, listen, you're coming off a knockout loss. You're Fundora. Hold on. You're Fundora. You're coming out of a knockout. How do you deserve?
He didn't get knocked out by Fundora, first of all.
No. Fundora, I'm talking about Fundora coming into that fight with Tim Tszyu. Fundora was coming out of a knockout loss to Mendoza, okay? Mendoza knocked him out.
Appropriate. Hold on. That's actually fine for a late replacement, though, right? The circumstance was like a week or two. As far as like that whole setup thing goes, though, I mean, Tszyu was really putting it on Fundora until he got that cut. I just blame his corner. I don't think like it was really much of a setup because I don't really rank.
Why didn't they stop the fight?
Highly. I mean, Fundora got knocked out by a guy Tszyu dominated.
Dude, how are you a ref and a doctor ringside and not stop the fight? That shit did not stop bleeding.
The corner could have said that he can't continue because of the cut, and then they would have had to rule it a no contest. That's the corner's fault.
I did videos on that and how badly Tim Tszyu's team mucked up the situation. But again, Al Heyman of all, and one of my biggest concern afterwards was that Tim Tszyu he sacrificed his world title for the PBC to set up a good fight for Errol Spence. But they gave him a title shot after that. So they didn't. I can't blame Al Heyman for this. Sorry, Tim Tszyu. I mean, he got destroyed by Murtaza Aliyev fair and square. So he was given a. It is what it is.
No, I mean, like, I totally agree. Like, I really want to, like, emphasize how bad his team is because, like, even his dad knew that this Chechen guy is a real threat. Like, they should have priced in the fact that he was training through Ramadan against Jao Kulke. And Kulke, I don't think has ever been stopped before. As old as he was still, like, a wily veteran. And that guy put it on him and took his best shots. Like, he was a credible threat. Much more so than Fundora or Furman.
He was competitive. Yeah, but that fight was competitive. And I think Tim Tszyu probably thought, you know what, I can take him out.
No, but they should have seen like that, the kinds of punches he likes to throw. And the strategy they had.
Okay, yeah. No, of course. Yeah,
I get what you mean. Square and keep his right hand down after throwing a straight right.
Yeah, he made so many mistakes. Retarded. Yeah, too many mistakes. Hands down and everything.
Yeah, but I mean, his team is not doing him any service. Is what I'm trying to say.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I agree with. I agree with you there. It was catastrophic fuck up after catastrophic fuck up for his career.
Yeah, well, there's no question.
I don't think the guy is ever going to be right again, in my opinion, because he was already not. Well, he was already not right. He showed visible signs of what do you want to call it, the lefty term trauma. He showed visual signs of trauma when he kept checking his head if he was bleeding, and he kept stalling out. And he had no other strategy. How do you come just forward? How do you come forward with a guy who's a power puncher? Why don't you box him and keep him away? No, come forward. There was so many fuck ups going on. This guy's not going to be the same anymore. When he comes back in the ring,
he can't box that guy because of the length. He would have a trouble, getting distance. But like
you would have to
was square. He's already shorter in length, right?
I know you would have to use your
square, making himself even.
You would have to use your jab. You would have to use your jab and cut angles and work around him. You can't slug it out with that dude. And he didn't.
No, but they're putting
all right. Some people
on
in the chat are going. Jay Colt in the chat says Team Zoo is very basic, B+ at best. That's what Jay Colt is saying in the chat. Is that what we're
Tim Zoo has a
he relies on his reactions, right? And a fighter who does that, leaves himself open. And you have to know what you're doing. You have to understand space. And his team obviously didn't prepare him properly.
Tim Zoo has a very predictable fighting style. I'm actually surprised he hasn't lost before the Fundora fight. Somebody should have been whooped his ass. I'm kind of surprised he went undefeated prior to that. He's very basic and predictable. I'm surprised nobody got him yet. That's why I'm bad with foreign fighter names. Y'all gonna have to help me with that. But the dude he got knocked out by, that was expected. That should have happened sooner though, because his fighting style is way too predictable.
It was obviously not expected because of the betting odds.
No, it wasn't expected at all. No, it was a shock. It was the upset.
I disagree.
I'm bad with foreign fighter names. Y'all gonna have to help me with that. But the guy that knocked him out, I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Yeah, me neither. I don't.
Well, Bakram versus Aliev. I got the fight horribly wrong in my prediction video. I thought that. Well, I thought versus Aliev was way too hittable and everything, and yeah, Tim Zoo looked poor. He may be a shot fighter at 30, which is crazy to say, but yeah, no, this isn't down to Al Heyman. Like Al Heyman, he matched Tim Zoo up his team. They gave him all the tough fights, which is what he wanted.
Yeah.
And in the end, he just proved. I'm shocked. I thought Tim Zoo was going to be the future of this division. So yeah, it was.
You thought Tim Zoo was going to be
that's why it was an upset. That's why it was
as much shade as possible. I don't really care to give him credit, but I'm more interested in the Murtazaliev Ortiz situation, like
that would be cool.
From Zoo.
That would be cool. That would be awesome.
That would have been a real fight.
Who you got winning that? If they fight, who you got winning that? If they fight,
that does look like a situation where Ortiz's team, so De La Hoya, is not interested in making the fight. But I'm going to give Ortiz a little bit of leeway because he has fought Bohachuk and Madrimov back-to-back, whereas Murtazaliev, up until the Jack Colque fight, he was very inactive. And, Tim Zoo was his first real step up. So I think I'm not a fan of any fighters turning down top fights, especially title fights. But this one, Ortiz has fought the better competition. So I think I don't think it's
not
terrible.
It's not healthy for a fighter.
He's a champion. Let's see it.
It's not healthy for a fighter to just every single fight you're fighting the top guy. I think Ortiz should take a little easy fight.
It's literally what it means to be the champion.
Nah, it's not healthy to do that. You end up like Tim Zoo, like the dude just said. You'll be 30. You'll be 30, and you're pretty much shot. You don't want to do that, right?
You've got to have stay busy fights in between. The fight.
That's what I said.
Yeah, you should fight top level of opposition. I think
Ortiz's next fight.
Hold on. Especially if you're a champion, if you should fight top level guys. This fight was supposed to
not over and over again.
All right, guys, one at a time. Guys,
okay, hold on.
One at a time. Right? Go ahead.
Could I go?
No, Don Madrazos, and then you can go, Solis.
Okay, this fight was supposed to be one of those fights where I'm going to get ready to get back on the horse. I need to come back from a loss. That's why this was an upset. Somebody mentioned earlier that they were shocked that he lost. A lot of people were shocked. This was an upset fight. It wasn't like Fundora and Mendoza, because I don't buy Fundora. I've never bought Fundora. I don't think Fundora is that good of a fighter. I think he's very, very beatable. He's been beaten. I think he's very beatable by almost anybody at 154. But the way we talked about Tim Zoo in the lead up to this fight was that was a fluke. It was an accident. It was a setup, whatever it was. Now we know that this guy is limited because he showed limitations. He didn't show a second gear. He didn't show any dimensions to his skill. If I was the guy in there getting hit and I had more skill, I would have ended the fight on my back foot, keeping this guy away from me, getting in when I could, but I couldn't. I couldn't do that. That means I don't have it. And that's what Tim Tszyu is.
What fight are you talking about?
I'm talking about Tim Tszyu's previous fight with Fundora and his fight with Murtazalia. Murtazalia fight, we all found out this guy just doesn't have it. He doesn't have the other gear. He doesn't have another dimension. He didn't
change his style, adapt, or anything like that.
No, he didn't do shit.
I mean, he got hurt
doing the same
within
thing.
like the first minute.
He got hurt.
He got hurt in the first minute.
He got, but listen, he got hurt.
Switch it up.
He got hurt. He got hurt and didn't have the fucking brains enough to change up his strategy and to fight on the back foot. He didn't do it. He just came forward again
because he still believes his power. He still that's the problem with this guy. He believes too much.
He's predictable. He's not as skilled as some other fighters.
No, but
He's up and down. No skills.
I mean,
the loss was very.
He got no skills.
Tim Tszyu's performance was terrible, but I just want to echo what I didn't catch who said it, but talked about not being very high on Fundora. I like Fundora as a fighter and as a person, but the fact is he was still getting hit plenty of times. Tim Tszyu was able to get way too close to him throughout the fight, even though Tim Tszyu could barely see anything. So there's a lot of question marks on Fundora, which is why I'm disappointed he's fighting Booker. Booker should never be in the ring with a champion, let alone a unified champion. But I don't think we'll find out how good Fundora is from this fight. I think he's going to be tested.
We're all going to see Fundora get as much as many fights as a champion with cans. He's going to fight cans. He's not going to fight anybody real for a while.
I really hope they don't do that. I really hope you're wrong, but
we already know that they will.
That is the PBC way.
How is this guy still making the weight? He's 6'6".
He's a freak.
No shit. He's like 47 years old now.
Great question.
His kidneys must be fucking beef jerky. The fuck?
He's a skeleton, bro. It's awful. They're going to make him do it. They're going to squeeze every last bit they can out of the guy until they're done with him. And that's the PBC way, bro. That's what they do.
He should go fight like Hamza Shiraz, right?
It's not just Al Heyman. That's all promoters.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think
just to get away from the promotional angle because it's a bunch of speculation. I feel like Fundora would have a good shot at middleweight because the top two guys are they rely on their length, especially Shiraz. Shiraz doesn't really take the elite foot position as a southpaw. He actually relies on letting the guy come in as an inside angle, but he's so much taller than most of the middleweights. He can just pull back and fire a left hand anyway on the inside. But Fundora is also a southpaw, and he's super long. He doesn't have a very good jab. But I feel like the uppercuts would be very effective against Shiraz.
So what's next? So assuming Tim Tszyu wins this next fight,
was a PBC fighter.
Is he going to fight Thurman finally? Assuming Tim Tszyu wins this next fight, is he going to fight Thurman? Because he's losing that fight.
I hope not.
Just make that fight.
That's the plan.
I really hope the Thurman fight doesn't happen because it's so pointless. But that's maybe that's what they're aiming for.
Listen, I'm excited to be honest. That was a bullshit fight with Jarvis, but Thurman, he throws fun punches.
Why is it a pointless fight?
To watch.
That UK dude, why he say it's pointless?
The fight's pointless because Thurman is complete. And look, I was a huge fan of Keith Thurman, as I said earlier, but he's been super inactive, and I have no interest in him fighting the top guys because Tim Tszyu is still a top middleweight. I don't have any interest in seeing Thurman fight the top guys when he's 36. He's barely fought, and he's an old man. It's just
he's got that Norwood power. He looks himself in the mirror. He sees he has nothing left to lose, and I feel like he's just going to go out and wing it. However long it lasts. Well, this guy was leading with shovel hooks, leaping shovel hooks.
I know what you're saying, but I would have preferred to see Keith Thurman do this when he had lost to Pacquiao. I mean, this guy wasted so many years of his career. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, he also got bad shoulder injuries that can keep you out of the ring for a long time. But all I'm saying is, I've watched boxing.
I agree.
And like,
bro, this is
what I've noticed, right?
Shoulder injuries.
Sometimes you can have like top tier fights, but they can end up being quite boring because both guys are good enough not to risk it. But sometimes when you get like this kind of bullshit fighter, he's just going to be willing in there, because he just realizes I only have like this short window to win, and he just goes for it. And I'd rather see that a lot of times.
This is beyond shoulder injuries or any kind of injury. That the time the guy took off in between two fights it's fucking laughable. It's disgusting that the guy was able to come back.
Let's leave that aside. I'm just talking about a Zoo Thurman fight right now. Could be fun to watch, and I'm down to see it.
Sure, but like, does this
you
even
agree?
help?
So you agree with me then?
Yeah, he probably does. But does this fight with Thurman? Does this fight even help Tim Tszyu at all? Like,
well, it helps him get back in the ring and get acclimated.
Well, he's already getting. Yeah,
Buto with Thurman.
I don't think the fight helps Tim Tszyu at all. I think
guys, somebody's talking.
Well, first of all, we need
guys. Somebody's talking. Let him fucking finish because everybody's jumping on top.
Okay, Buto.
Yeah. Am I breaking up or something? No, it's not me. I'm fine here.
With Tim Tszyu, he's so far down. He's like, it's not just one loss. He got destroyed. Let's just face it. The guy is at rock bottom in his career right now. He lost. Yeah, it was a fluke, but then he lost again, which solidifies that, oh shit, maybe this guy just doesn't have it. Maybe this guy, maybe some people were overhyping him. He needs to take the long road back up. And fighting a guy like Keith Thurman, I would say it's a name. It's not like he's fighting a Jarvis or something, but it's a name that would help him get back up on his feet. So that would be kind of interesting to watch that fight. I don't think he's going to be the same anymore, but I think it would be a better fight for him to take. He could go down that road.
They're both in the same position in a way. So
not really.
They should take different paths. You know what I mean?
Keith Thurman is in a position where he's just irrelevant just because he hasn't been doing anything. And Tim Tszyu is in a position where he's damaged goods. He's not in a good position because people don't believe in him anymore. He's done. So he's got to take the long road back.
I didn't know that he was fighting Joey Spencer. I think that's a less helpful fight than Keith Thurman. Like they should just make that fight.
You just reminded me. Yes, I knew Tim Tszyu had a fight coming up, and it's against this guy, Joey Spencer. So that's his tune-up fight. That's his fucking tune-up fight. After that fight, which I think he's gonna knock this guy out. There shouldn't be a third fight because it's not another tune-up.
Unless it's a quick turnaround.
Hey, Bucho.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, one at a time. Okay. Go ahead, Solis.
Who you think? Do you think it's a big gap between him and his pops, Tim Tszyu?
Oh, come on, man! Of course, yes, big.
Whoa!
I just wanted to see.
Come on, man.
Yeah, Tim Tszyu. I mean, Kostya Tszyu is like one of the best 140 pounders of all time.
Floyd,
Tim Tszyu is not even like anywhere near the top of an already made up division.
I agree.
Floyd didn't want to fight him.
Say it again.
Floyd didn't want to fight him.
Floyd didn't want to fight Kostya Tszyu?
Yeah.
Shit, he probably didn't.
And De La Hoya.
Shit, he probably didn't either. Yeah. It is what it is. Didn't see them, I like Kostya Tszyu though. He was good.
I feel really bad for Abel Ramos, or he's like just shelved basically.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I thought he got robbed with Lubin. Yeah. I thought he got robbed with Lubin, and they've kind of just shoved him aside ever since that fight. Ever since the Lubin fight, he's been kind of just on the back burner.
He's been fighting like cans basically. Yeah, and he's only 24. Like he obviously won the Lubin fight.
That was a blatant robbery. Yeah, that was a blatant robbery. And Ramos, I mean, he's actually another example. Him and Fundora of and Errol Spence as well of Al Heyman. I mean, he's hurting fighters' careers when they're in their primes. Yeah. It's terrible. So because Ramos, he's been so inactive since he got robbed against Lubin. I'm happy he's making a quick turnaround on this card. but I want to see him step up. Like he literally should be fighting. Why they didn't make Fundora versus Ramos to me is mind-boggling. Hopefully that fight might be next, or maybe Xander Zayas.
Just in general, like this, everyone on the PBC should jump ship, but like Ramos, especially as hard of a puncher as he is, he should just go to middleweight. Like there's no one there.
Yeah. Well,
just go to get a belt.
154 is so stacked that I want to see him stay in this division. I mean, the division, I think 154 is the best in boxing right now.
Yeah, but he's 24. I think like you should just move up in weight. By the time you're 25, if you start at a weight class, well, typically it's not.
Wednesday.
Well, it depends. Okay.
He's 5'10". He's got the size. He's got a 72-inch reach. He's a big guy. I think he'd make a bigger name for himself if he went up to middleweight.
Well, the funny thing about middleweight is that there's pretty much no names there. I mean, Janibek, he might be the most underappreciated champion in boxing right now, and Adama's. I mean, that fight will be very good, but we don't know if it's going to happen next. So yeah, middleweight does need to shake up. So Ramos could definitely do great things. I mean, he can do great things anywhere he goes. I really hope he's not inactive again.
Yeah. But I mean, he's been active. He just hasn't fought anyone. He's fought 3 times since the Lubin fight.
The robbery?
4 times.
Are you talking about the robbery?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lubin. I don't know what those judges were watching. Like how you could not give the fight to Ramos is mind-boggling.
He actually stopped Banana. His last fight.
Jason Rosario. That fight was in the undercard of. Yeah, of course. That's what I talk about. Yeah, in the undercard of Morel, Benavides.
There's a guy getting thrown to the meat grinder, man. Like, Jesus Christ.
Well, he's fighting this guy called... Just let me just say this for people who weren't here earlier. Jesus Ramos is fighting on this Saturday against Kevin Salgado, but that's a tune-up fight. It's a massive tune-up fight. So don't think that, this guy's fighting, a month and a half after Jason Rosario. Yeah, he is fighting a month and a half after, but against a bum. Go ahead.
Ducho, let me ask you 2 questions. Where you think Ryo goes next after losing to Russell? And let's say that, and then the second question, let's say they actually do make that Russell versus Stevenson fight. Who you got in that?
I don't know. Maybe Ryo can fight Pitbull again. And would you say
the dude that beat Ryo, they're saying that he reached out to Stevenson. Let's say that fight actually does happen. Who you think's winning that? If you had to guess. Your prediction, rather.
Stevenson? I would say Stevenson.
You don't think that Ryo loss was devastating? Like, he's like in the same position Tim Tszю's in? That's the second time he got beat down like that? De Los Santos clipped him, and then he got clipped again by Russell. You think he can bounce back? It ain't no big deal.
Maybe he's not like a big ass fucking name. I mean, this guy probably doesn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? He's just
yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, he's not.
Ryo pretty good though. I know he lost, but Ryo's pretty good.
Mexican. Yeah.
If anything, it's a lesson. It's a lesson on how much they hyped up Isaac Cruz. That's the lesson here.
Yeah, and we know who hyped him up and why. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. They need a name.
Yeah, Pitbull was never really that good, and Valenzuela. What's his name again? Valenzuela. Yeah, Ryo.
Pitbull Cruz, he might not be as skilled, but he got heart though. I can respect that. I definitely respect Pitbull Cruz. I understand.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah, I respect that.
Let's talk about skills, guys. Yeah.
I agree. He's not really good. I agree.
The guy probably throws 2 jabs in the whole fight.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Nah, he ain't lying.
Not even, Pitbull's not even a junior welterweight. Sorry, junior welterweight. He's a lightweight that moved up for certain circumstances, got a belt because he got it off Rolly, and God knows how, who knows how he got that belt. That's pretty much it. Like, people are going to call him a former champion, but was he really a champion? This is my problem with all these belts. You have all these former champions all over the place. They're not even. They shouldn't have never been. They should never have been champions.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. Yeah. That makes sense.
I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad fighter, but he's not a great fighter or anything like that. Who are the best fighters at 140? Let's just name them. You know, I mean, well, actually, I was gonna say Teofimo Lopez, but this guy's fighting at welterweight now. There's an exodus happening right now at 140. These guys are moving up to 147. So who's left? Let's see. Matias, still dangerous. Devin, no, he's gone. Who's at 140 now?
I think you said it. A lot of them moving up.
Yeah, but who's left? Wait, I have
140. Yeah, 140 is very open because all the lightweights moving up. I can just answer the question about Rayo. I was impressed with how he came back from the loss against De Los Santos, but yeah, he's done. Russell was the favorite. He outclassed him. It is what it is. Like, hats off to him for his comeback.
You think Russell can beat Shakur if they actually make that fight happen?
I don't think they're going to make it, but if it did happen, I would pick Shakur.
Yeah, me too. Even though I don't like Shakur. But
I mean, Russell's good. Russell's good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he was extremely one-dimensional in the fight that he lost before, but yeah, he looked good against Rayo. Shakur's just a nightmare to fight. What can I say?
You talking about when he lost to that? Is he Cuban? The last fight Russell lost.
I don't know. He's Caribbean.
Cuban. Don't his name start with a P? His last name.
The guy who beat the
He fought recently, right? Right?
Cuello.
Yeah, Puello. Yeah, he lost to Puello. That's what I'm saying. Russell looked very one-dimensional that night. But he
fought on the Benavidez and Morel card.
Yeah, he looked improved against the last time we saw him against Rayo, which is, again, I'm not saying. I just feel that Russell, again, Shakur is very boring, and I've been saying multiple times Shakur is not. He's not Pernell Whitaker 2.0, and he's not like the second coming of a young Floyd, but he's extremely difficult to hit clean because he doesn't give you opportunities. And Russell, we've seen him get outboxed, so that's just my thoughts. But I don't think the fight will happen.
Wait, what are we talking about Shakur at 140 now?
No, he's saying he might move up to 140
already. Okay, so what's gonna happen with Tank Davis at this point? Because the few fights,
he just gonna fight at 135 and then just retire. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, that would be
unless he move up to 140.
Fuck.
Never know.
I don't think so, man.
I think he's just gonna stay at 135.
Well, then who? I mean, because I'm thinking what one of the few fights that was left for him at 135 was Shakur Stevenson, and now we're talking about Shakur is gonna move up. So then, who the fuck's left? What big fight is for Tank?
Unfortunately, that fight's not going to happen. So I kind of stopped talking about it. The only, you heard me say this before. The only fight that I really want to see as of right now is Canelo and Benavidez. That's the biggest fight. That will probably be the biggest fight in boxing history if they fought. Mexico, because I told you, Mexicans run boxing.
I don't think it's the biggest fight.
Sorry, I gotta disagree with you.
Mexicans run boxing. That's a classic all Mexican class. Mexicans run boxing. If that fight happens,
no, he's not a well-known.
Benavidez is not a name, bro. He's not a name.
All right,
no, it's not about.
Solius, let me ask you a question. What do you think is a bigger fight? And I'm talking about in terms of pay-per-view sales and attraction, and people are going to be talking about Canelo versus Crawford or Canelo versus Benavidez.
I think Canelo versus Benavidez, because to be honest with you, real boxing fans don't really want to see Crawford and Canelo because it's a 147 pounder versus 68 pounder. Real boxing fans, people want to see Canelo beat him, so I get that. But that's what's going to happen if they fight. But nobody really want to see that. But real boxing fans, they want to see Canelo and Benavidez. If they announce that fight and it happens, I guarantee you, every Mexican on the planet Earth is going to go to that fight. There ain't going to be nowhere to sit in the stadium. It's going to do pay-per-view numbers. You probably will go to the fight. I'm telling you, that fight happened, everybody's going. You probably get off the phone right now and go to that fight if that fight was being announced.
Listen, I don't know. I wasn't aware of, I was still a fucking baby or something when Sugar Ray Leonard fought Hagler, all right? apparently nobody really gave a chance to Sugar Ray Leonard, from what I understand. And it was still a big ass fight because people were intrigued
about a retirement.
Yeah, exactly, and everything. People didn't give him a chance. The fight was competitive and all that. We know that. But what I'm saying is that even though they didn't really give Leonard a chance, a lot of people, I mean, it was a big fight. People watched it. And so when it comes to Crawford and Canelo, it's probably the same thing, you know.
Man, Canelo is way too powerful for a 47-pounder. You know this. You already know this. You know what's going to happen. He's too big. Pause. It's not.
Yeah, Canelo.
It's not,
yeah, Canelo's not going to lose.
We're talking about two different.
Canelo's not going to lose.
Hold on. We're talking two different things here. One is which fight is bigger, and I believe that the Benavidez fight, it might do 700,000 pay-per-views, but the Benavidez, I mean the Bud and Canelo fight probably do 1 million or over.
I don't agree. I think Benavidez and Canelo would do better. Nobody. I'm telling you.
Benavidez isn't really anything. Like Benavidez doesn't bring much to the table.
Y'all gotta be game. Don't nobody really care about that fight.
What was Benavidez last year?
No, solid. You got to be game, bro. Nothing sells like black versus Mexican, bro. Come on.
Let me say this though. Real boxing fans, I'm telling y'all real boxing fans. Y'all probably low key feel the same way I feel.
Hold on, you're on speaker or something. You sound weird. I don't know.
Real boxing fans don't want to see the Crawford and Canelo. They want to see Benavidez and Canelo. I'm telling you.
I disagree, bro. I've been advocating for that fight for about 1.5 years now.
Canelo and Benavidez?
Well,
Canelo Crawford.
I gotta hit off on how.
Why you want to see a mismatch?
Why you want to see a mismatch, man?
That shit lame as hell.
Who said it's a mismatch?
Yeah, exactly.
It is a.
Look, Bucho. This is some real shit right here.
You really think a 47-pounder has a chance against Canelo?
It is a.
Look, the size difference. Look, hold on. The size difference between Canelo and Crawford is less. It's less than the size difference between him and Benavidez. So I don't want to hear that mismatch bullshit.
You want to see a 47-pounder fight a 68-pounder?
Where did Canelo?
You can't be serious.
Hey, hold on. Let's keep it real. Who's taller? Who got longer arms?
You're not serious.
Where did Canelo start his career at?
You just want to see Crawford lose. Knock it off. You need to admit you just want to see Crawford lose. That's the reason I want to see. You want to see Crawford lose.
If I want to, I can see Crawford. Hey, hold on.
You're not serious.
Hold on. I can see Crawford lose at 154. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck are you talking about?
You want to see him lose to Canelo. You know damn well that's a dumb fight. A 68-pounder fight.
Who asked for it? I didn't ask for that. Who threw that fight in the air? Who threw that fight in the air? Was it Canelo or was it Crawford?
For 3 years he could have
Who threw the fight in the air? Was it Canelo or was it Crawford?
It was
say it again. What'd you say?
Hey, who made that fight? Who's making that fight happen? Canelo or Crawford?
No. You heard me.
Who's chasing it? Who's chasing it?
We talked before. You've heard me say that Crawford is full of shit for doing that. I do not agree with Crawford. That's some bullshit.
Okay,
he's dumb as hell.
He's begging for it, so you can't be mad that he's getting what he asked for.
Canelo should deny it. What Canelo should have did was say, fuck that nigga Crawford. I'm going to fight somebody in my weight class. He had 3 years to face a legit challenge in Benavidez. I've never seen a fucking Mexican not take a challenge in a fight. Canelo did that with Benavidez. So just fight him. He wants to fight Crawford. I've never seen a Mexican boxer get called out and not accept the challenge.
Can we move on?
Hey, you know what? Hold on, Fight Sport. And I've never seen a black guy be ready to jump up 3 weight classes where he doesn't have every advantage, willing to put his ass on the line for legacy, bro. So I can doing that shit.
Hold on, Fight. Let him go at it, then you can jump in because this is interesting here. They're having an interesting conversation.
Who with a brain agrees with Crawford?
I've never seen a black dude give up every advantage in a fight, bro, like Crawford's willing to do. And he's really not, because he's still going to have the height and the fucking length.
And that's going to be enough to beat Canelo.
But he's giving up weight. So I commend him for having the fucking balls to do that. Because usually it's a situation. It's a situation like Marquez versus Floyd, where the black dude's bigger and he can miss weight if he wants, and it's not a big deal.
I don't even know what you're talking about. The Canelo and Crawford fight is a mismatch. Anybody with a brain that's really fucking with boxing for real does not want to see that fight. There's a legit challenge in Benavidez, and Canelo is ducking that. I've never seen it. Like I said, I've never seen it.
Where do you want that fight to happen now,
bro?
Solid. Where do you want that fight? So hold on. If Canelo fights Benavidez, where's that fight gonna happen?
Where?
Let me say this real quick.
Which division?
I'm up here in Chicago.
No, bro, I'm asking you a question.
Mexicans duck no smoke.
Which division?
Butcher, can I just ask one thing?
That's cool. Yeah,
Butcher,
hey, bro, keep calling out Mexicans. That's cool. That's cool. At what weight is do you see this Benavidez Canelo fight happening?
No, 68.
Do you think Benavidez? So you think David Benavidez is going to win at 168?
Can I just ask one thing?
Okay, he asked me. Let me respond. Okay, 68 or Canelo can fight him at 75. He's fought at 75 before he can do it again. So
Why the
let's
fuck
say
would he fight at 175 for no reason?
He's fought at 75 before. He can't fight at 75 again.
Why would he fight Benavidez at 75 for no reason? For a mandatory position?
No. I believe he can fight him because he called him again.
All right. Let Fight Sports say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I'm going to head off, but I'll try and call back. How long do you think you guys will be on for today?
I have no idea, man.
All right, well, I'll try to call back in later. Yeah.
3 in the morning.
Thanks for having me, guys. Catch you later.
All right, see
ya. 3 in the morning. Yeah.
So basically, he could fight him at 75, but again, that's the only fight out there for Canelo. These other fights are a waste of time. Crawford shouldn't be begging him for a fight. That's dumb on Crawford's part. I wouldn't do it. It's not my weight class, so that fight's not happening.
It's about money right now,
bro. He had 3 years to fight Benavidez and didn't do
Why
it.
can't we
I don't understand
Crawford
that.
to try greatness? Try to achieve greatness. What's wrong?
Yeah, let him do it. He's
I understand.
division champion.
I understand. I think
Crawford's more of a threat than Benavidez. Crawford has more skill than Benavidez. He's more dimensions. Benavidez is a one-dimensional fighter.
No.
You can see him coming. All he does, he's a pressure fighter, and he's not even that great of a pressure fighter either. And he gets hit a lot.
Make no mistake. Make no mistake.
I got hit a lot by a guy with 11 fights, so it's come on. It's just
no. Make no mistake.
You're thinking that this guy is like this the monster. Who's feeding all the propaganda about Benavidez? Their campaign,
make no mistake.
Their promotion for sure, and all the people that are buying into the fact that this guy's a monster or he's a big threat.
Well,
dude, the guy's fighting people his own size. He's not doing much.
Okay,
he's not doing
let's talk about Benavidez. He fought Vosdik, and now he fought Morel at 175. Did he look like a monster?
No, absolutely not.
In my
he doesn't even look like
a you got it, but he's fighting in a new weight class. He's fighting bigger guys. Of course, he's not going to not.
I want to see the Canelo fight. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to say that Canelo's docking this guy because it's not like this guy's Beterbiev.
Yeah, exactly.
Say that again. Say that again. I didn't hear you.
It's not. He's not Beterbiev. He's not Bivol. It's a guy Benavidez who's okay. He's a good boxer, but he's not one of those guys. He's not at that skill level.
He would have, but here's the problem with that. Canelo would have fought him already if that was the case. If he was 100%, because y'all talk like y'all Canelo yourselves. If he was 100% confident he can beat Benavidez, he would have fought in the 3 years that they were at 68. He would have fought him and beat him. Just like Benavidez said himself out his own mouth. Why don't you come beat me and shut me up then? Why hasn't Canelo done that? Because he knows he can't beat him.
Dude, that fight is up in smoke. Why are you still talking about that shit? It is up in smoke. David Benavidez.
Nah, man, y'all don't want Canelo. Y'all scared Canelo gonna get that work from Benavidez.
Bro. Let me finish what I'm saying. Look, you're saying that we're scared to see Canelo lose. We already fucking seen him lose. We already seen him lose the fucking we already seen him lose a Bivol. So what you're saying is fucking stupid. What it sounds like is you're fucking scared to see Crawford get laid the fuck out. Okay, that's what it fucking sounds like, dude. Because when Duran, look, hold on, let me finish. When Duran went up to fucking lose, when Duran went up from 135 to get knocked the fuck out by by Tommy Hearns, he gets full credit for that shit. When he fucking lost, he no-massed against Ray Leonard, he gets full credit for that shit, right? Why the fuck can't Crawford go up and challenge himself? He gets knocked the fuck out. So the fuck what? That's the business of boxing. Why can't you handle that shit?
See, the flaw in that is...
Why can't you handle that shit?
Crawford's... Am I going to respond or not?
Go ahead.
I said one word, this nigga's interrupting me. So
why can't you handle that shit? Why can't you handle it?
He's a 47 pounder. He fought one time at 54. It didn't really look comfortable. And you expect this man to go up 2 more weight classes and fight a guy that's the king of that weight class, and he has a chance, and you're saying he's challenging himself to be great.
He wants to do it. He wants
in
to
the back
do it.
of your rapid ass mind, that don't make sense. You know that.
Look, he wants to do it. And look, and here's something else. Canelo went up 2 weight classes to fight Kovalev, and he knocked him the fuck out. If Crawford is as good as people say he is, he should be able to do it.
He's not going to beat Canelo at 68. Get that through your head.
All right. Well, I bet you'll pick him on fight week, right?
I'm not even going to. If the fight, I don't think it's going to happen. I think something's going to go wrong. But let's say it does happen. I'm boycotting the fight. I told Bucho this. Bucho heard me say this before.
Yeah, well,
you wouldn't know that.
Because you don't want you don't want to see your boy get knocked the fuck out, dude. It's a racial thing with you. That's what it is.
Get knocked the fuck. If they actually fight, he's going to get knocked out. Yes, I told you that. This is my 5th time telling you that. You don't have to repeat it. This is my 5th time telling you that.
Crawford's getting knocked the fuck out, bro, and there's nothing you can do about it. You got to accept it, man.
There have been some buffs.
What I'm saying is,
what do you
knocked him out, not me.
What do you think about
I think I'll get over
Timothy Bradley? I think it's Timothy Bradley or Sean Porter, that he's giving Crawford a chance. Are they out of their minds? Whoever said that.
See, even Bucho know what's up.
No, I'm saying, are they crazy or not? But what do you think? Because
they are crazy. He's not beating Canelo at 68. It's not happening. Everybody knows that. This is a dumb fight.
Well, not everybody. I mean, I told you. I think Sean Porter said that he
Teddy Atlas is picking
don't listen
Crawford.
to him, bro.
Teddy Atlas, the great Teddy Atlas.
Don't listen to them. You know what I think? I think the reason why they're saying that, to be honest with y'all, I think pound for pound, Crawford is technically better than Canelo, pound for pound, like their boxing ability.
Well, then he should
so
be able
I
to
think
win.
that's why they're saying it.
Okay, but
as far as like him going up to that weight class to fight him, man, he ain't finna win that fight, man. Get that silly shit out of here.
If you're saying how do you think Crawford's skills are way better than Canelo's? Like way better? Like there's like
Bucho, he's better, but he can't beat him. He's better, but he can't beat him.
Okay,
you hear what he's saying?
No, okay, but exactly. No, I just want to.
Yeah, because of the weight difference.
No,
why is this guy trying to argue with me about everything, bro? This nigga is not dumb, or is he?
Solius, are you saying
this nigga ain't stupid, bro?
Solius, are you saying that Crawford's skills are much better than Canelo? Like there's a big gap in skill level.
Put it to you like this: when it comes to pure boxing ability, yes, Crawford is better than Canelo. I feel like anybody would say that. Now, if you're a biased Canelo fan, then you disagree. That's fine.
No,
if you think Canelo's better, that's fine. I was just
asking you. Okay, so you think now, how big is the size difference? I know Crawford has like bit longer reach, and I think they're about the same height, or if not a little bit taller. So, but
I think he's taller.
Crawford's skills are much better in your opinion, and you're saying that he's gonna get knocked out. I mean, he still has the weight.
He's too big. He's too big.
But he's
just someone like Usyk can overcome that weight advantage, but someone as skilled as Crawford can't.
Exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. If
Usyk went from but he's flawed. Everything he said got flaws in it. He's saying a guy that moved up one weight class. Crawford is a 47 pounder who fought literally one time at 54.
No, but
he's jumping up 2 more weight classes.
Bro, you sound stupid. Hold on, you sound stupid, bro. How much heavier was fucking Tyson Fury than Usyk? About 30-40 pounds. Is that one weight class or 2? Is that 3? Is that 4? What are you talking about?
Usyk went from cruiserweight to heavyweight, so he's 200 pounds, right? Heavyweight 200 pounds.
We're talking about weight.
So he's in the
weight. The weight is still 40 pounds difference.
No, what I'm saying is it's the same weight class. He's going from 147 all the way. It's not going to work, bro.
Guy, heavyweight is unlimited. Heavyweight is unlimited weight. Like so.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying it's. But the reason why it worked for Usyk was already a big guy that was like 185 pounds and up. He was already a big guy, Usyk. Crawford is not a big guy. There's a difference.
I'm not disputing that Canelo's bigger, but
hold on. Let me tear apart what this fool's saying. So look, you're saying that Usyk was already a big guy. He has to eat himself into the heavyweight division, and you're saying that you're trying to say Crawford's a little guy. Crawford's been on the scale and show everyone he hangs around 180. And you're saying he's already a big guy. This dude Crawford is taller, like we've already pointed out. and his arms are longer than Canelo's. So the only difference between them is like the weight, and on fight night, bro, there won't be 10 pounds between them, bro.
Bucho, let me explain it this way. All right, Crawford's 47. That's a smaller weight class. Canelo 68.
He's 54.
This fight would make, let's say
he's a champion at 154, bro.
Don't say no more. 54.
What the fuck?
Let's say Crawford was going like from 54 or 60 to 168.
Right.
Then that would suggest he's kind of like.
That's what he's doing. What the fuck are you talking about?
That'll be. I'm talking about like normally, because he's not listening. He's just wanting to argue. All these years, Crawford's fought at 47 and fought one time at 54. That's not really a 54 pounder. I'm talking about somebody who's been fighting at that weight class.
He's a champion at 154. Well, how's that not really 154? He has a belt at weight class, bro.
All right,
just to clarify, Crawford did way more than Madrimov on Fight Night. So I do agree that when people say that Crawford has a chance because the size disparity might not be that expanded or much, I tend to agree with that. I do think Crawford's a big guy. But yeah, you know, it's interesting though. I've been watching a lot of videos from all the guys, Crawford and Canelo, and you know, when I hear this stuff that Crawford's a much better boxer. What does that mean, right? Because you can say, you know, what makes a boxer good? It's the technique, it's the intelligence, the ability, the instincts, the ability to pick up spots, the ability to adapt, the ring generalship.
All right, let me explain. Let me explain why I think.
I wasn't finished. Sorry.
All right, go ahead. My bad.
I'll let you know when I'm finished.
All right, my bad.
You know, that's all right, man. Gonzalo made a very good point. You know, in 2022 when Canelo beat Ryder. I wasn't a big fan of that performance at first. I was like, I don't know, one punch at a time. It's the same thing he did against Kovalev and against Callum Smith, and losing against Bivol. It was, you know, one punch at a time. And then Gonzalo made a good point. He says, yeah, but BDA, when other guys fight throwing one punch at a time, but on the back foot, you know, running around one punch at a time, clinching, shaking their asses, they, you know, the media calls it a masterpiece. But when Canelo does it coming forward, all of a sudden that's rudimentary, that's primitive. And I say, you know what, that's a good point, because in my experience boxing and watching boxing, it seems to me like coming forward is much more, what's the word I'm looking for here? Deserves more respect, because you're coming forward, you're opening yourself up to counters. It's easier and much more safer to stand on the back foot and let the other guy throw first. You're not it's like Bernard Hopkins used to say, you got to let the guy out of the cage so that you can hit him. But a lot of guys are just staying in the cage. Canelo's coming forward, being defensively responsible, throwing one punch at a time. And so I think, you know, yeah, are these guys that he's fighting the best? You know, Berlanga and Munguia? No, but he's treating them like that, like they're not the best. He's coming forward and dominating them. You know, you got other guys like Gervonta Davis, who's not even fighting the best, and he's getting hit. He's getting his head snapped back and forth. So I think Canelo's ring IQ is being underrated.
Canelo got great ring IQ. I think, see, the thing about Canelo is, what I notice about him is he's not good at, like, you know, like he'll have a plan A, but he don't really have a plan B. Like, example, when he fought Bivol, right? Once he saw that he couldn't like just bully Bivol and like just pound on him, and Bivol couldn't really fight back like how he did Plant, he didn't really know what to do after that. Like, Bivol was just countering him. He didn't really have an answer. He was trying to hit his arms, thinking that was going to make him drop his guard. It didn't work. He didn't really know what to do. Then you look at Crawford when he fought Sean Porter. Now, mind you, Porter's not as good as Bivol, but Porter was being very aggressive. He was throwing like fast combinations up close. Crawford at first was struggling against that, but then he quickly adjusted to it and had a plan B, and he was able to outbox him and knock him down. He does that way more than Canelo does. Canelo doesn't really do that. If his plan A don't work, he kind of like, okay, what am I going to do now? And then he gets outboxed. I believe that would happen with Benavidez, because Benavidez is better than people think. I heard somebody earlier, I don't know who said it, but they were saying he just comes forward and throw punches. Now, Benavidez is real slick. I think if he fought Canelo, he would get Canelo, because I don't see him hurting Benavidez.
Hold on, let him finish.
So that's what I'm saying. So that's what makes Crawford better. He adjusts better to what opponents do, better than Canelo does. Canelo kind of like, I'm just going to do this the whole fight. And if that don't work and the other fighter is successful in making that not work against them, Canelo's kind of like, damn, what am I going to do? Like Bivol exposed. Like, he didn't win not one round in that fight. Maybe one round he won. But once Bivol caught his rhythm and was able to like not get bully bombed and get walked down, and he was just countering everything he did, Canelo's frustrated. He's about to body slam him in the middle of the ring in the 11th round because he was so frustrated. So that's what I'm saying. You've never seen that happen to Terrence Crawford. Like when he fought Kell Brooks before, Kell Brooks had to exit the fight because I guess he got hit with a low blow. Kell Brooks was faster than Terrence Crawford, and he was actually catching Terrence Crawford. But what happened? Terrence Crawford adjusted, and he was able to avoid getting.
Yeah, you
he made him.
What Kell Brooks is again.
Sorry, Ason, I'll let you go, but let me just correct. Yeah, it was Amir Khan that you meant. It wasn't Kell Brook. But go, Ason, after you, I want to add to what Solitis said.
Yeah, like Kell Brook was damaged. But what version of Canelo are you mean? Because we're talking about like farewell pre-tour Canelo, where it's just sledgehammer. Yes, but Canelo has multiple layers. Like we've seen that against Danny Jacobs. We've seen that against a lot of guys. If we're talking about in his current form now, then
Did I just put in real quick? I want to interrupt. My bad for interrupting. That Danny Jacobs fight, Canelo won. He got hit with some shots in that fight I don't think he should have got hit with. He won, though. So who gives a fuck, right? He won that fight. But he got hit with some shots from Danny Jacobs that I think he should have been able to avoid. But go ahead. Go ahead.
It's like when it's not about, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but he was fighting a good champion or a good fighter at that. But Canelo has multiple layers. Like Canelo.
I can respect that.
Canelo's growth, like his growth is different. You're saying like with Crawford, to me, his adjustments is he just switch ups and just effort. I don't really think it's had nothing to do with like technique and all that, because like I don't really see too much different. And I'm a Crawford guy, but I don't really see too much difference when he's like even when he was fighting Madrimov, he's fighting in the at 154. I didn't really see him switch up anything. I seen him being more careful.
Well, can I say something? By the way, Ason, you're cutting. Yeah, Ason's cutting in and out, just to let him know.
Thank you, Rafael Garza, for his renewed membership to the BDA membership program. He says, Heyman never allowed Benavides versus Canelo. Okay, yeah, sorry. Heyman never allowed Benavides versus Canelo. However, we have spoken many times about the pay scale, and hopefully Dana will not reward the ASS as. What does that mean?
The American Slick Style. But, you know...
wait. Shout out, man. And we have another super chat, so hold on. Rapa Stroking Company, thank you for your super chat. He says, La Raza buys the most pay-per-views. We want Canelo versus Terrence Bud Crawford. All right? He has spoken for all Mexicans now. Go ahead,
Yeah, I just wanted to say that in regards to Canelo Bivol, I agree, man. He looked bad in that fight because he was doing the sledgehammer approach, and then when it didn't work, he's like, well, I'm going to just throw harder. And he's like, nah, man, you got to throw combos. You got to mix it up. He did give Bivol a good chance. I mean, I thought he won more than a round, that's for sure, especially early on. And he made Bivol miss a lot. He made Bivol miss. He made Bivol miss a lot. The other thing is Crawford versus Porter. I remember predicting that Crawford would stop Porter based off the fact that Crawford does well against guys who just jump in, like he did against Jeff Horn. So I didn't see him doing any adjustments in that Porter fight other than he kept, letting Porter run into something, and then Porter, as the shorter guy, was working very hard to get on the inside. And I think Crawford just wore him down. I didn't see him really doing anything different, unless maybe I'm mistaken. So, and when we talk about Canelo getting hit with shots that he shouldn't be getting hit with against Danny Jacobs, you can say the same thing about Crawford. The way he was getting his head snapped back against Madrimov. I mean, for a guy who's supposed to be a boxing genius, and people are comparing him to Mayweather, as it pertains to him beating Canelo, I don't remember. The only times I remember Mayweather getting hit with those type of shots were jabs from Maidana, Cotto, De La Hoya. We're talking very good fighters here.
I was going to say that Madonna, one of them, yeah. The Crawford fight when he was getting hit by Madrimov, that wasn't really. That's kind of uncharacteristic. I never seen Crawford get hit like that before. Kind of like, outside of Linares, if I'm saying his name right, I've never seen nobody hit Devin Haney until Loma. Same with Crawford. I never seen that happen. I'm just going to write that off as maybe the new weight class, or maybe he just got hit. Fuck it. But but the Canelo thing is, he kind of got hit in that Jacobs fight with shots that I feel like he should have been able to avoid. And then the Triple G fights, that's what some bullshit gifts that Canelo got. But But yeah, he's great fighter, Hall of Famer. I respect him. I'm a fan, but there are some red flags about him. And people get mad at me when I point out the red flags and they try to put it back on a black fighter when I was talking about him and shit like that. So that's kind of annoying. But no, he the truth. But I just feel like the Benavidez shit, I just find that strange that, not to stir up nothing, but I've never seen a Mexican boxer say no to a challenge from another boxer. Mexicans fight anybody. That's why I was very surprised that he didn't fight Benavidez in the 3 years they were both at 68. Because like the Danny Jacobs fight, that fight only happened because he challenged Canelo. That fight would have never happened if Canelo would have not agreed to it. Because that was right after he stopped fucking with De La Hoya. And that fight only happened because Canelo said, I want to fight him. And then they
follow that logic. Follow that logic.
If Canelo's going to fight, he's going to agree.
Follow that logic.
Off on the fight.
Follow that logic.
Yeah.
Follow that logic. You said you've never seen that, I think you should say rarely, because I don't think all Mexicans always accept the challenge.
Okay, yeah,
there must be exceptions.
Rarely. It's been rare.
But if that's true, then ask yourself, why would Canelo refuse the Benavidez challenge? It could be to what you're probably thinking, which is, he's scared of Benavidez, or it could be that he wanted the challenge, but there was some fuckery from the other side.
No, I don't think it's that, because there was some fuckery from Berlanga's side too, and he didn't mind fighting him. So I don't think it's that. I think he's really, I shouldn't say scared, because if you can fight like Canelo, who the fuck would you be scared of, right? So I don't think he's scared like that. But at the same time, I might make an exception to say he is scared, because it's like he would just beat Benavidez and shut him the fuck up if he really could beat him. He would just do that like he did everybody else. He's going to shut Crawford the fuck up when they fight, if they fight, because he's too small, like I already told y'all. So you would think he would do the same thing to Benavidez. I really believe that, this dude is too dangerous. I'm not going to fight him. He said he was too big for him. Pause. But then he put his foot in his mouth when he said that, didn't keep his word. And then he fought Berlanga, who's just as big as Benavidez. Then he said he won't fight another Mexican. That's why he won't fight him. Puts his foot in his mouth again, and then he fights Mugia. So it's like, he's not keeping his word. Some red flags there. Benavidez, legit challenger. He's mandatory for one of the belts. You would think they would fight. Normally, they say you're a duck if you don't fight your mandatory, but somehow Canelo got a pass for that. So it's like, there's some funny shit going on. But like I said, I like Canelo. He's a great fighter, but there's just some red flags about him. That's all. It ain't nothing personal.
I mean, I keep saying that there were red flags with the Benavidez thing too. I mean, they're asking for TV rights when Canelo was still with Eddie Hearn. I mean, in what planet does the B side, and there's a big discrepancy between the B and the A in this scenario. Why are they asking for TV rights? I mean, that's a major red flag. And then Lukowicz says, well, we made him an offer of, I don't know how many millions. 50. And Reynoso said, well, it's always changing. One day it's 100, another it's 75. They're all over the place. Another major red flag. And then they made an offer on, Lukowicz says he made an offer on Twitter. Reynoso says, on Twitter, he says, we never got that offer. And then Lukowicz erases a tweet to try to erase the trail of his lies. So, I mean, we got to follow the logic. Canelo's fought everybody. Is Benavidez really that dangerous that Canelo's going to go?
That's what I'm saying.
Respectfully, all that stuff you outlined, I feel like none of that stuff is relevant. I feel like if Canelo wanted to fight him, he would just say it and they'll make the fight happen.
Well,
all that other extra stuff, the PPV, I don't think that would determine if they fight or not, to be honest with you.
You said you feel that way. But hold on, you said you feel that way, but I feel
I would
like
hope
Canelo. I would feel like Canelo can't. I mean, if you're a guy, if you're the B side and you're asking the A side to make concessions, the A side can just, I'd like to see the fight too. I'd like for Canelo to just say fuck it, just like he did with Andre when the IBF said no, you can't unify, and so that's why Canelo moved up to super middleweight, because he just wanted. I would have said, fuck that, pals, just fight Andre. But that's not the world we live in. The guy's not gonna, as the A side, he's not gonna bend over and acquiesce to all the B sides' demands. Because then where does the buck stop? Then it opens the door for all the other B-sides to demand something. So that logic of, well, Canelo should just say yes. I mean, it's a business too. He's not going to just bend over and give the other guy whatever he wants. It's a shame, but that's the way the business works. Boxing's a business.
Canelo deserves that. Canelo's like literally like the point in time. Like Canelo's like literally the king. Like he deserves to call his shots. Canelo has like the better resume, better than Crawford and Benavidez put together. So why can't he call his own shots or the things he like literally or was well deserved to him? That's what I want to know.
From what I was told, from the information I got, when he was negotiating who he was going to fight next after he fought Charlo, They said that they contacted Benavidez, and they said they offered Benavidez $5 million to fight Canelo, and Canelo get the rest. And Benavidez agreed. And then they said that they didn't. When Benavidez agreed to it, they didn't hear nothing back. And then Canelo moved on to go fight Mugia. So I heard that all that other stuff, that stuff you be saying, I can't say with 100% certainty if it's true or not. I just don't feel like that would determine if two fighters are going to fight or not. But that's what I heard, and that sounds more believable. Because I'm pretty sure if Canelo offered to fight Benavidez would say yes. I don't think he would come up with an excuse to not have to fight. I don't believe that. I really believe, like I said earlier, I really believe he's like, I don't think I can beat this guy. And like I said, I feel the same way about Tank. I think Tank saw Shakur fight and was like, I don't think I can beat him. Because they should have been fought, just like Canelo and Benavidez should have been fought. So I think it's both ways. Tank doing the same shit, and I think Canelo doing the same shit. The thing that frustrates me about Canelo is his fan base. Like, they're so, like, it's like a cult. It's like he can't do no wrong. Like, Canelo can take his shit and they would swear it don't stink. That's how they act. Like, it's like, God damn, bro. Like, I understand, yes, he's a great fighter, but it's like, if he does bullshit, it's not the end of the world if you call it out. Me, I'm black.
What bullshit? I mean, what bullshit? Other than the Benavidez fight, other than the Benavidez debacle, what other shit is he doing that his fans aren't calling out?
No, like, the steroid thing was sus. For some reason, that doesn't get mentioned. But if a black fighter were to get caught with that, they would talk about that all day. You know how that goes.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All of this. What's up with those exploding gloves that Crawford has?
See what I'm saying? I mentioned that he didn't answer if Canelo was guilty of that or not, but he went right to what a black fighter did. See what I'm saying? You see how that's annoying? Mucho, you see how annoying that is? Or BDA, you see how annoying that is?
Hold on. Were you the guy that called in? Were you the guy? Hold on. Were you the guy that called? Were you the guy that called in and got into it with Recognize about the Mayweather illegal IV thing?
I did research on that.
Right.
I found out that what happened was they both took legal substances to help with the rehydration. Nothing illegal, nothing dirty. And I was like, okay, that's why when I was typing it in, nothing came up, because I was typing in steroid, because I was talking about steroid use. That motherfucker started talking about something that wasn't steroids. And I think that's why nothing came up. So I typed it in.
PEDs give you an advantage. If you're using a rehydration thing, which is illegal, it's giving you an advantage.
No, he didn't. What Floyd did, from what I read, this is documented, he didn't take nothing illegal that would get him in trouble like Canelo did. Because Pacquiao did the same thing.
But the rehydration
with Pacquiao is,
but the rehydration was illegal.
He tried to take steroid shots, and they were like, no, you can't do that. Floyd didn't do nothing like that. But they only highlighted what Floyd did. You know how they only highlight what Floyd did.
Follow me here. He took an illegal IV drip. He's not doing it for shits and giggles. He's not doing it for shits and giggles. He's doing it for an advantage. That's why people take PEDs. It's not for shits and giggles, for an advantage. So yeah, he cheated.
He took illegal or legal?
Illegal IV drip.
That's not Floyd did. That's not true.
For the package, yeah. Well, listen, we talked about it on the phone. First of all, you couldn't find the article the first time, so I don't know which.
I was typing in steroid use because I was going off of that because that's the main
thing. Okay, but that's not the point. But anyway,
he never took. Okay, he said he was trying to say there was a steroid use on Floyd's part. And I'm like, wait a minute, he never took a steroid.
What he's saying is that the IV, he's saying that the IV drip is might also have been used to occult something, but which I don't know about. But the point is, we're all this story because I asked what fuckery has Canelo done that his fans refuse to acknowledge.
Yeah, I was trying to talk about that.
Hold on, but Mayweather was Mayweather again. You brought up the racial issue about, well, if it was a black guy, people would be jumping all over him. Nobody jumped over Mayweather for that. And in fact, only a couple of underground people like Thunderdome touched on that. So no, it's. We have examples of a guy doing something fishy and people look the other way. Crawford's gloves too. Look, I can't say that Crawford cheated. I can't say that because who knows what he did with the gloves? Nobody knows. However, according to if we want to go by narratives and why don't people fixate on certain things? Why does the media ignore certain things and focus on others for other fighters of other races? Crawford's twice now the gloves exploding and different brands of gloves. I mean, again, that's not enough to indict him about him cheating or anything, but it is suspect. And it goes to my point about how nobody in the media talks about it. They reported it on Instagram the day of the fight, and then that's it. It's forgotten.
See, what I was trying to say was Like, I didn't really want to bring up the racial thing, but fuck it. What I was saying is they're overly critical of every little thing a black fighter does. Then when a non-black fighter does something, it's not too big of an issue. It's like, it's so much bullshit. Like, back to Canelo. Okay, he tests positive. He gave a bullshit excuse. He got suspended. You never hear about it again. There's no black fighter that could do something like that and not get that shit thrown in his face over and over.
American fighters are the most protected fighters of them all. Are the most protected fighters of them all. They even get all the disease.
Not black, I mean, look at that.
I remember Andrew Ward against Kovalev. I mean, that was a complete robbery. So they even get the judges on their side and the drug testing. Even in the Olympics.
Look at that bullshit. Look at that bullshit look at the bullshit Devin Haney's going through. He sued the guy for a breach of contract. They're saying he's suing. They signed the contract to fight at 140. This nigga comes in to fight overweight. He was in his legal right. He was within his legal right to cancel the fight, but he still fought him. Then they find out there's some shit in his system.
He's so protected. They actually removed the loss from his record. Never seen that before in my fucking life.
They had to. It was too obvious.
No, they usually do it. They usually make it at no contest, but they actually remove the loss. I mean, that's extremely rare. I never fucking seen
They had to.
But
can I correct you on that?
It's the American system.
That situation was too bad. They had no choice.
They protect American fighters. They do whatever the fuck they want. They remove the loss. It should have been a no contest.
Bro, you're talking about after the aftermath. This day, nobody criticizes Ryan for all that bullshit. He comes out of nowhere for no reason at all. He's talking about some I hate niggers, Diggo George. Why is he saying shit like that?
Wait. So it's okay for Devin to be racist and to be on steroids? Like, what the fuck? Why are you being a hypocrite?
Now you're complaining about what people say.
There's no criticism for that. Why would
there
you
is
say
criticism?
Like
what do you mean? There is criticism. I'm criticizing for that. What do you mean?
Everybody criticizes.
No,
I think you need to change your argument to I don't want. You don't want to criticize for that.
And then they ate the baby.
Like the misunderstanding is I was talking about in general, not necessarily the panel. I was talking about in general, not necessarily the panel. That's a misunderstanding. So not necessarily you guys.
Because the media is controlled to favor the American fighter. What do you mean? What are you getting at?
See, you're not listening.
No, I'm listening. You're rephrasing the fallacy, and every time you keep explaining it, we're debunking it. Time and time again.
I don't think you're listening.
So you could tell you could say the fallacy 1,000 times. It's still going to be a fallacy.
Check this out. If your response is they're protecting an American, I don't think you're listening.
No, that's not my response. That's your response.
Who said that? Was that you?
I said it. I said American fighters are the most protected fighters in boxing.
Here's my response. Now, this is what I was saying. That was some bullshit Ryan did. You guys pay attention. It wasn't
bullshit when Devin did it, though.
By the way, he's American too. I don't know what you're talking about.
You guys pay attention. You guys pay attention like I do.
Crazy.
You guys pay attention to boxing like I do.
Yeah.
There was no criticism for him doing that.
We don't.
People
we pay
attention
to boxing more than you do.
Let him finish.
We paid attention to boxing more than you do.
And I wasn't talking about American. I was going off a race. Ryan is not a black dude.
Okay.
He said he did some bullshit that is not really acceptable, but it's like little to no smoke. Devin didn't really do no bullshit like that. Devin's not coming out.
But Devin's not a white. Devin's not a white dude, and he's being racist towards white people. So like, what's your point?
No.
Devin Haney said I would never lose to
a white.
He said
he didn't say no slurs though.
He did.
Ryan Garcia literally. He didn't say no slurs though. Ryan Garcia.
I'm gonna just get straight to the point. Why are you being a hypocrite? What's your point of being a hypocrite?
No, Ryan Garcia just out of the blue called black people hard NERs for no reason. Devin there, he said I ain't gonna lose to the white.
The government kidnapped him, so who cares?
Everybody white bro soldiers. You've been calling all of us niggas this whole time you've been in here.
Exactly.
Well, hold on.
Either we all say it or don't say it. Stop being a hypocrite.
I'm not have to mute. Hold on.
BDA.
Yeah. Everyone's talking at the same time, and I'm trying to listen to the conversation.
You can't.
You guys gotta stop talking. Hold on. You gotta stop talking at the same time. Bucha brought up a good point.
Let me finish. I'm about to get off.
Shut up.
Bucha brought up a good point about Haney saying, I would never lose to a white guy. Now, he didn't use a slur. That's true.
That was my point.
Come on. He didn't use a slur, but what's the implication of saying I would never lose to a white guy? That the implication is being we're so superior to white people that it would be an affront, infamia, an infamy to lose to a white guy. So imagine if a white guy said, "Oh man, I'd never lose an SAT test to a black guy." The implication being black people are genetically inferior when it comes to intelligence. I mean, it's the same implication here. It might not have been a slur. It might not have been a slur. Okay, and that's the other thing. You keep saying nobody said anything. Again, you're using a fallacy, universal fallacy. Nobody, everybody. I've saw plenty of people on Twitter castigating Ryan Garcia for what he said, including myself. I said, look, I'm not offended by it, to the point where I want to cancel the guy, but I find it distasteful what he said. And I am never going to sit here and tell other people what they can and can't be offended by. So yeah, I'm one of the people that criticize him for it too. So you got to stop saying everybody, because I saw plenty of people on Twitter that I don't even associate with, and they were castigating Ryan Garcia. So you got to stop saying everybody, nobody. Right?
So BDA, I have one thing to say to this guy. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. If I say fuck all bitches, should all women be offended or only the bitches? Same thing. If I said F-E-Rs, only the E-R should be offended. Not every black person is one.
Okay, what?
That's it. That's it. You shouldn't be offended if you're not one. And to me, nobody's ever been able to give me a definition. So the definition that I came up with just growing up around it and what people call other people, it's a piece of shit, low of the low. That's what an ER is. And it could be anybody. I say it to white people. I say it to Mexicans. I'll say it to black people. If you're a piece of shit, low of the low, that's what you are. But if you're not offended by anything, you should not be offended by that word. Not even
mad at that. What he just said, I'm not even mad at. The problem, though, is, and you guys all know this, if a black person would have come out and just say some shit like that out of nowhere, everybody would be at your head. Didn't happen to run. Might be a little criticism, but it wasn't like that.
That word is more
I don't even disagree with what dude said. If I said that about Mexicans, if I just said some crazy shit just out of the blue, you motherfuckers probably be trying to kill me. You Mexicans on this channel?
Crawford used the same.
Hold on. You need to stop talking like what you're saying is the truth when it's just an opinion.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because I'd like to hold on. I'd like to, I'll give you an example.
I don't mean shit.
But hold on.
I know how it works, bro.
You keep saying if this happened, then, but you don't offer any examples of when when that has actually occurred, where a white guy or a Mexican guy says something and there's no repercussions, then a black guy says, and the whole world jumps on him. Hold on. Crawford made the same argument when Teofimo Lopez said the whole monkey and the banana thing. Crawford said, if it was me who would have said it, or Tank Davis, the whole media would have been against us. I'm thinking, first of all, like I already explained, with the gloves thing, the media ignores it. Number two, Crawford did say something racially biased when he told Jose Benavides Jr., I'm going to beat the burritos out of you. In fact, he repeated about 3-4 times, and nothing happened. I remember a couple of people.
It's crazy. The double standards.
I remember a couple of people on Twitter, maybe 3 or 4, and 1 or 2 people mentioned that here in the YouTube boxing community. But overall, the mainstream media just ignored it. They didn't report that. So there was no coordinated attack on Crawford saying, "Hey man, we got to cancel this guy," or he's got to apologize for it. He was never called to apologize for it, as far as I know.
Hey, let me ask you this, and I'm gonna go. I got to do something real quick. Let me just ask you this. What's worse, Devin Haney saying no white boy's going to beat me, or Ryan just out of the blue saying he hates niggers and wants to dig up George Floyd? Which is worse to say?
Don't you hate ERs? Don't you hate ERs? Because it's not all black.
I was asking BDA.
So don't you hate ERs? So what's the point? What's so bad about it? And second of all, you said Mexicans.
The only goofy person is you.
Mexicans. When you say ER, it's not all black people. That's a big difference.
All right.
Go ahead.
BDA, you've been called upon.
BDA, what you think? Which is worse?
I'm not going to talk until people mute themselves. Everyone's talking at the same time. I would say what Devin Haney said is worse because he's castigating an entire race. He's castigating entire races.
I understand.
You asked me for. Hold on. You asked me for an answer. You asked me for.
This guy's always playing a victim, bro. It's annoying.
Control.
You asked. Think about the craziness
of this. I'm a victim, but I'm laughing.
Victim mentality.
You asked me for an answer, and then you start talking over me when I'm answering.
I understand you pro Mexican. That's fine. You know the truth.
All right, so
I'm gonna
then
let you go.
I can just hit you with the.
You mean you're being pro-black that you think he's being pro-Mexican?
No, what I asked him is, what's worse, Devin Haney saying he won't lose to a white boy, or Ryan Garcia? What he said? He said what Devin Haney said. All you guys are smart.
I would say Devin Haney because he was trying to be slick about it, and Ryan just said it.
I'm muting people.
Haney already lost to a white boy.
I'm muting people because they just want. First of all, this dude Solitis asked me a question, and then as I try to answer it, he starts talking over me. So no, I didn't answer the question fully. Also, you're using another fallacy, which you're saying instead of actually conversing with me and going at my argument, you're just saying, "Oh, well, you're Mexican." I could do the same thing. Excuse me, stop interrupting, please. I could say the same thing about you, like Kamak was about to say. Well, you're just pro-black. And then we're stuck with that. You think I'm pro-Mexican, and then I just call you Afro-Anglo, and that's it. Then we're stuck. Instead of actually having a discussion, you're being intellectually dishonest. That's number one. Number two, listen to what I'm saying here. A word's a word. A belief, I think, is worse. Because what Haney is saying is, losing to a white guy would be such an affront because, I mean, it's a white guy. I would never lose to somebody from the white race. What's that implication? He's decrying and denigrating an entire race. Whereas a word, like I said, if people want to find it offensive, hey, listen, I'm never going to tell people what they can't and can't be offended by. But when you,
do I get to respond?
You just want to keep interrupting and you're not even listening to me. I bet you're just hearing things.
No, I'm gonna say one thing. Then I'm gonna let you finish. Then I'm gonna go ahead and step off. I got.
Why don't you let me finish first? Why don't you let me finish first? And then you can.
Hello. What's up, niggas?
Jeez, you know what?
What's up, man?
I'm gonna drop out, man, because I can't.
Finish your point.
Easy money weekend, and I'm gonna start freestyling.
What's going on here, man?
Bro just gave a freestyle.
All right.
Oh my goodness gracious! He's denigrating a belief about a whole race being inferior. To me, that's worse than saying a word. I think we can all agree with that. And I'm curious to hear why not. Why that wouldn't be the case?
Exactly.
Can I respond, or
yes.
You still talking? I can respond.
Yeah, he stopped talking. You can hear him not talk. All right, so go ahead.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, BDA, you a real smart guy. I honestly believe in the back of your head, you know which is worse. I get what you're saying, though. I'm not even mad at what you're saying. I get it. But I honestly believe you know which is worse. But I'm going to leave it there. We talked about it enough. I'm going to let y'all go ahead and take over the show. I'm going to step out. So I might.
Can I just tell you one thing? Can I just tell you one thing? Can I just tell you one thing? One last thing. I know you know better than that too. I know in the back of your head you know I'm right. But I'm just going to leave it at that.
No, that's cool. I don't know how much longer you're going to be on.
Crazy. It's crazy, man.
Oh, good, bro. Come back.
But my man's fighting though, bro. Like I said.
All right. Is he cutting off or is it me?
A conversation. Yeah. And then this guy just uses fallacies and goes off his ideologies.
No, let me say this before I go. I don't really I know we had that conversation, but I will say this before I go. Mexicans, y'all dominate boxing. Y'all got the biggest fan base. Y'all run this. If I was fighting currently, I would want a Mexican fan base. So I'm not anti-Mexican. There's just some red flags, and I'm just not afraid to speak out on it. Everything is good. Other than that, everything is good.
Same here.
I feel like we could we agree with that?
Yeah, I think African Americans are great fighters, but I see a lot of red flags when it comes to.
Do we agree that Mexican has the biggest fan base?
Yeah,
I don't know. We would have to do the numbers.
Yeah, I don't know.
The biggest on the planet, bro.
British.
We would have to do the numbers before making a radical assumption.
We take
it's not a radical.
We take things seriously here. We gotta check the numbers. Do some research.
Check the numbers, bro. Check the numbers. Hello, Pigeon. Yo, what's going on, bro?
Yo.
Yeah, man. Listen, all I gotta say is, listen, bro. The only guy at 140 now is Rolly, bro. Rolly Romero, bro. The Ryan Rolly fight is the main fight of the whole year. That's the biggest fight of the year, man. Rolly against Ryan is levels, bro. Devin Haney against fucking Jose Ramirez. That's a big fight as well. Jose Ramirez, you got to remember, was a unified champion. So like, everybody's dissing on Jose Ramirez at the moment, but Jose Ramirez is a live dog, bro. Live pit bull in the fucking crew, my man. That guy can fight. So, yeah. I think Jose Ramirez got a big chance of winning that fight. If Devin Haney loses that fight, he's gonna have to get a better tailor, bro. I
think both their opponents are washed. To be honest,
I don't want Haney to lose anyways, though. Because I do want to see that Haney Garcia rematch, but
yeah. I don't think it's gonna happen before 2026 because there's litigation still going on. So I think that'll still happen, but it'd be like 2026 that'll go down.
Yeah, but Haney could Haney could drop the charges, no? If they, for a big fight.
Yeah, that's what Oscar's been trying to get him to do. Like Oscar's been trying to get him to drop those charges, but I think Bill Haney would drop them, but it needs a discussion between Oscar and Bill Haney behind the scenes, like not necessarily on social media. So if like Bill Haney discusses it with Oscar behind the scenes, but is Bill Haney gonna be? Is he gonna like stop being an idiot and just have a discussion with Oscar? Because Oscar will let it go. Like if they drop all that Ostarine shit, because like Ryan Garcia was only like 0.3 over with the Ostarine. It wasn't like a massive like 10 times thing. It was like a minor thing. You could even argue it was borderline. So as far as I'm concerned, people need to like think about what's going on with Victor Conte and everything, and maybe take it off what they're listening, not really believe it. That's what I reckon. That's what I'm saying, bro. And I believe that 100%.
Oh, you think Ryan versus Rolly is an actual competitive fight?
I do, yeah. To be honest, Rolly's a live dog. Like he sparred with Ryan Garcia before, 8 years ago. Rolly has had some of the best sparring that's gone on over the last 3 years. Pre the Tank fight, he's been bringing guys in from the Dominican Republic, all over the place, bro. Top quality operators. So don't sleep on Rolly, bro.
I agree with Pigeon.
Pigeon has been.
I think it's going to be I think it'll be an entertaining fight and competitive before Rolly gets stopped.
Really?
I think he gets stopped.
Yeah. I think so too. I agree with Pigeon.
Damn, what the fuck's going on? I didn't know all of this information, so because a lot of people are saying it's a quick knockout, though. A lot of people are saying that they're betting on the knockout. They're trying to pick it the round, early round. Huh?
No, I think Garcia's gonna stop him, but I think it'll be a fun, competitive fight until he gets stopped.
Like, what do you mean? Like, how long do you think it goes?
Probably mid fight.
I think it go to the 11th. Might even go to the like.
I'm thinking mid fight.
I gotta check the odds.
Because Rolly Romero's got loads of experience now, so he's been in some. He's been in some fights. He's also won that belt. What was it, the WBA? So he was like a champion and stuff. So you got to remember.
Whoa! Hold on 1 second. He won the belt. Rolly Romero won. What? Who did he win from?
He got given the belt.
Who did he win the belt from? Who did he win the belt from?
The grandpa-looking dude. Remember?
Do the words King Tut mean anything to you? Do the words King Tut mean anything to you? And the pyramids of Egypt mean anything to you?
I'm just happy, man.
For 4,000 years. That's who we beat the guy. Okay, well, all right.
I'm just trying to cap him up because, like, I think he's a really legit fighter. Like Rolly Romero, everybody attacks him and that. This guy, no, he is. He become a world champion. That guy. World champion.
Okay. All right. That's
that is a massive achievement for him.
You know what?
It is an achievement.
We're gonna make a note of that.
But he'll be at the conventions. Me and you won't.
Pocket right here. I'm just gonna make a note of that here. And
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, bro.
All right, Pigeon. What's the most out of the 3 fights? What's the most competitive one?
Which ones? On the round card?
Yeah, on the Ryan Garcia, Haney, Teofimo Lopez.
You left. Out of all of them, the most competitive of all of them.
People are saying it's Teofimo Lopez against what's his name again?
No, Barbosa. No, that's not competitive. I don't think so. I think the most competitive fight on the whole thing, and like I haven't got Google up or anything. I'm gonna go Devin Haney against Jose Ramirez, bro.
Damn.
You had to Google this?
No way.
No, but no. I was looking at the free card, not the main card, because there's the build up as well. So like pre the card. So I was looking at what was starting off on the night. So this was a prediction for the whole card, not just the big fights. You know, Ryan, Rolly, and all these guys. I was doing a build up for the main ones. But if we go in the big fights, we'll go Devin Haney. We'll go Devin Haney against Jose Ramirez, because I think Ramirez. I've been watching a lot of his stuff like over the last 2 days. He's training and everything, and he's looking really good. He's looking in good shape. Like, he used to have a lot of fat around the waist. Like when he lost to that what's his name, Josh Taylor fight, and then he was struggling in the recent fights as well. But he looks okay, and I think he'll do okay. You think Haney's going to beat that guy? Haney can't knock Jose Ramirez out.
Probably not. I mean, he did drop Prograis several times.
Yeah, but I think he's washed. I think he's washed now, and I don't think he's as motivated.
That's
to be
the
honest.
thing. I mean, Pigeon's saying that he's like the training. He looks good in training. That's true. But we don't know when it comes to the actual.
I don't know, dude.
Yeah, but he might be physically on top. But what about mentally?
Yeah, he looks dejected.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the press conference,
Yeah,
he looks like he's out of it.
Yeah. He kind of looked like a guy that was just up for getting the money.
Yeah.
That's how he looked to me.
Now
he was shocked when he lost.
Haney could overlook him, though. Haney would, he thinks he's the shit. He might overlook this guy. He might.
I don't know, Bucho. I think Haney had a hard reality check, and
yeah, that's true though.
He's not he's not the same anymore. Mentally, he's a mentally weak fighter. You know, he's just a weak guy. He's always had to have a size advantage. Even when he moved up to 140 with Prograis, he had the size advantage, and he blew the weight too. There was a weight stipulation there, and he blew the weight. Nobody talked about it. Everybody gave him preferential treatment after that. Prograis didn't even say anything. And after the fight, he didn't say anything either until the Ryan Garcia thing came up, and then he went ahead and came out and said, "Hey, listen, we had a weight stipulation in our contract, and he blew it." So I don't think the guy's the same. Like every time he fought, every fight he had, and every big fight he's ever had, he's always had a substantial height difference, and he always rehydrated a lot more than his competitor. All the time. When he fought Linares was look at that fight. There was a disparity in the size of those two guys. When he fought, of course, when he fought Loma, when he fought little what's his name? The Southpaw. The guy from LA. The guy that was molesting. The guy they accused of molesting some young girl.
Yeah, the Argentinian dude.
No, the Mexican guy.
The Mexican guy.
Yeah, from LA. I forget his name now, but he gave him work too. He even stunned him. He had a massive weight advantage and height advantage over that guy too. So every fight we're talking about here, now he's fighting a guy. Well, when he fought Ryan, he fought a guy that his own size, his own weight. Somebody, yes, Jojo Diaz.
Jojo Diaz.
Right.
Yeah.
Jojo Diaz was working him. Yeah. The only reason he couldn't get to him is because Haney was younger and faster. But he was still working him, and had Jojo Diaz had power, he would have fucking dropped him, dude. I mean, look at this Ryan Garcia thing. They were the same size. There wasn't a big weight difference between them on fight night. Yeah, sure, Ryan blew the weight that night, and he came in overweight, and he didn't give a fuck. And the guy
he was getting beat. He was kind of getting beat by Gamboa, bro. Do you remember the Gamboa fight? Do you remember the when he done his shoulder? That bitch when he done his shoulder. I think it was the same time as the Nakatani thing, and Gamboa when he fought Haney, and then Haney did his shoulder or some shit after that. And I think it was the pre-Gamboa fight. Can anyone check on Google? Because I don't want to be checking on Google, bro.
Well, my point is in relation to this fight that's going to happen with Ramirez. Ramirez is definitely not the same fighter anymore, and I don't think he was ever that great. He was a good fighter. He was a competitor when he fought Josh Taylor. I think he got kind of like a cheap shot. I think we all saw that when the ref told him to stop, and then he got uppercut. He ate an uppercut, clean uppercut too. That was kind of like a, I don't know. I mean, they didn't stop the fight. They didn't do anything about it. So whatever. But I mean, I thought he was a good fighter. I don't think he's a great fighter, but I think he's got a lot of experience and the size and the weight. I think he's going to do all right. I think it is a competitive fight. Based on the fact that Haney's coming into this out of that devastating loss. And it was a loss. I mean, everybody knows it was a loss.
Is this VADA? Is he going to be on the VADA? It's like testing.
I think so. Yeah, of course. He's not leaving Sanak. He's still with Victor Conte.
Yeah.
So, yeah, of course.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's good.
It's a hard fight to call. It's a hard fight to call because it's a hard fight to call in a way because we don't know how much Ramirez has left in the tank. We don't really know how much he lost to Barboza in a points decision loss. So we don't know how much he's got going on, really. So I don't know. I don't know if the pressure is going to be...
What's your views on the Canelo fight against Benavidez? What's your take on that?
Talk about that again.
I think Canelo has a better chance. I think Canelo has a better chance of beating Benavidez. And then I think I'll put it this way: I think Bud has a better chance of beating Canelo than Benavidez has a chance of beating Canelo.
Ooh.
How's that?
Yeah.
Actually, I want to know.
Wow.
Benavidez is the one-dimensional fighter. He's a pressure fighter. He's not even that good of a pressure fighter. And Canelo's like tailor-made for pressure fighters. He loves pressure fighters. He likes guys that are.
Pigeon,
so it's harder for him to. It's harder for him to catch the guy. to go against the guy like that. Like it's not as entertaining too. Like when he has to chase a guy all night, it's not very entertaining. That's when you're relegated to one punch at a time. But somebody made a good point about him being a very good one punch at a time guy on the front foot instead of being a one punch at a time guy being on the back foot. So somebody said earlier that if you're a back foot fighter and you do one punch at a time and you win, you're a master class. You put on this show. You're an amazing boxer. But if you're on the front foot like Canelo doing one punch at a time, then it's like, oh, you slow down and you're not that good, and and you only do you're criticized for doing one punch at a time, and you don't get the guy out of there like in a knockout.
All right.
Somebody made a good point earlier.
Yeah,
but back to the Benavidez thing and him. I think that he would beat Benavidez. I think definitely Benavidez not that good of a fighter. But back to the three fights in that Ryan Garcia card. Yeah, Ryan Garcia is going to take care of Rolly Romero, and I think that I would really like to see Teofimo lose. I'm hoping that he loses, and I can't wait to see the look on his face when he loses.
Why you hate Teofimo, bro? Why you hating, bro?
Dude, come on. Why do you like Teofimo? That's the main point.
Nah, he's an exciting fighter, bro. He's like a good fighter. He fights well. He makes boxing exciting. That press conference was boring, man. The only guy, he come on. Like, Teofimo is great entertainment,
He's good for boxing. Teofimo's good for boxing, and
yeah,
I want him to win just because he's good for boxing.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Listen, I love Mexican boxing, and I go and watch all the fights in Europe. But Arnold Barbosa's a boring piece of shit, bro. I'm not that interested in that guy, and it's kind of boring, bro.
He's not a knockout. It's kind of like. He's not gonna knock you out or anything either. So
this guy couldn't even knock out a cup of tea, bro. Couldn't even knock out a cup of tea, bro. It's like I can't be watching that guy. Like he's giving Cap in the press conference with his leather gloves or whatever he's on about. And I'm thinking, like, you've got like 50% KO ratio. Like, your last 4 fights were against people that they're fringe level guys, man. So let's be honest about Barbosa. You got a big win against that English guy. What's his name? Cattrall, bro. We all watched it. Fair play. You outboxed the guy. It was a boring fight. I could have scored that a draw. They were both average in terms of boxing skill. But, like, he turned up to the TO press conference like he'd knocked out, like Mike Tyson. He was capping and shit. And my opinion on Barbosa, he should have kept his mouth shut, bro. He's going to get dealt with against Teofimo because the way I look at Barbosa, he's a guy who's trying to sell a fight that's already sold itself. Everybody from Mexico is going to watch that fight. Everybody from Honduras is going to watch that fight. So why are you capping it up in the... You don't reckon? You did the Honduras.
I don't know. Honduras. Oh, maybe.
No, I'm not about the guy. No, not in Honduras. I mean the people in America that have like emigrated there on the train, bro.
Oh yeah.
Honduras, you don't have to eat, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not about the fools that got the train from fucking
the caravan.
You know, there you go. What's it called? La Bestia? Is it called La Beast or something? The immigrant train that goes through the middle of Mexico, bro. I'm just saying, bro.
No, but yeah, people are laughing in the chat. What else can we talk about? All right,
we're about Tio, man. Right about Tio, bro.
You guys think Benavidez can beat Callum Smith?
100%. I think Benavidez will knock Callum Smith out, bro.
What?
Probably in the 6th round, bro. Callum Smith well, his last win against Buatsi was good. Like, listen, he got a good win. Oh, well, listen, I think I'm wrong. No, I'm wrong. You're right. Benavidez, Callum Smith might be a close fight. I'm talking whack, bro.
Yeah, you're talking whack, man.
Because,
yeah.
Go ahead.
He's only good when he's the bigger guy in a lower weight division.
Yes. Like, who's talking here? Who's talking sense?
Me, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking shit. I'm talking shit now. I was talking out my ass.
Again, how did Benavidez look against Vosdik? He looked terrible, in my opinion. He was fighting a 37-year-old, and he wasn't hurting him.
He couldn't hurt him at all.
And then Morel, it was a competitive fight.
Fact.
So now Callum Smith, he looks pretty good at 175. He lost.
I don't think Benavidez can beat Anthony Yard even.
I agree with that.
That would be a good fight, man. Yard, he can take a beating. I mean, we saw it against Beterbiev.
I think Yard's got a good punch as well. He's got a good left hook. I think he could hurt Benavidez. I think Yard against Benavidez is a 50-50 fight, if I'm honest. Yard against Callum Smith, I think Callum Smith kind of shot now. Callum Smith against Benavidez. I think Callum Smith's a good... Listen, I think what your man just said above was 100% on the money. The true test of Benavidez is the fight against Callum Smith. Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you can dispatch Callum Smith within 7 rounds, because Callum Smith now gone, if Benavidez can put Callum Smith down in 7 rounds, then the Canelo fight's on, bro.
How many times is he going to get this chance? How many times is he going to get this chance to prove it? Everybody said this about Plant. Oh, if he gets Plant, he knocks up Plant out, then we know for sure. And he didn't. Then he goes to Vosnik, and he goes up to 175 like Canelo went to 175, but he took care of business at 175, and Benavidez couldn't. How many more chances are you going to give him to be like, oh, no, he's legit now?
Facts.
Oh, no.
Bro, he's a PBC fighter.
Oh, yeah, no,
Are you saying that the Benavidez' Jeez, I'm fucking tired. That Benavidez stopping fighters, that's over. Are you saying that Benavidez stopping fighters that's over now?
I'm just saying like this conversation it's useless. It's like how many fights, how many sloppy seconds is he going to get to prove himself? 5 more, 6 more, 7 more fights.
He's not stopping anybody.
What is it going to be? 2028, and we're like, okay, now
he's never stopped anyone really.
Like, what are we going to do?
Well, he stopped Andrade.
Yo, Andrade's got dreadlocks. He looks like a hot dog with hair, bro. Fuck that guy, bro.
I mean,
fuck that guy.
People were saying that he was gonna stop Caleb Plant. Canelo stopped him.
No,
he's the monster. Yeah.
Well, Bucho,
Caleb like a wigger, bro.
Every fight in his last 4 fights was supposed to be. Yes. Well, if he really is who they say he is, he's gonna knock this guy out. He couldn't knock out Gosvick. He couldn't knock out Caleb Plant. He couldn't knock out what's his name, Morrell. You know what I'm saying? And every single time these fights happen, before they happen, people were like, "Well, if he is who he say he is, he should knock him out." The only dude he knocked out that he was supposed to in the last couple of years was Demetrius Andrade, and that was a dude coming up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Andrade was off for like 10 years, bro. Like Andrade's just a joke, man.
That full sucked.
Fucking 10 fights in 10 years, bro. He had 10 fights in 10 years, Andrade. This fucking bitch was trying to make out that he was the next fucking Sugar Ray Leonard. And even the word Andrade puts Mr. Pigeon into a bad mood, bro. I hate that guy, man. Fucking hell.
We don't want Pigeon in a bad mood, though.
I like how he refers to himself as a third person.
Yeah, there you go, man.
I think what everybody's ignoring is that he's a PBC fighter. This is how they move, bro. He ain't gonna fight the real fight.
Fair facts. That's true as well. It's like that's probably the best. No, that was probably the best thing that's been said all day. That was the best quote, to be honest. Yeah,
look, there's a reason why he's calling out Canelo. There's a reason, because Canelo's a small super middleweight, and Benavidez is naturally a cruiserweight. He needs that advantage in height, weight, everything. That's why he's calling out him for the one big fight. He can't hang at 175. He can't hang at cruiser.
I just think there's too many people in Laredo.
For a loss, that's it. That's where you want to take your loss. You want to take it back.
Too many people in Laredo with like too many fake Louis Vuitton bags, bro. Like Benavidez Benavidez is a guy that appeals to people who have fake Louis Vuitton bags, bro. That's the way I look at him, bro. Like, listen, he gets in the ring against Canelo. Canelo's gonna fuck him up, bro. It's gonna get hit to the body.
It looks so tacky.
It looks like something from fucking 1982, bro. Nobody wants to be training there. Nobody wants to be training at the Benavidez gym, bro. Nobody wants to be training at the Benavidez gym, man. Fuck that. That guy. Like Benavidez, listen. He's gonna be quiet. But yeah, man. Mr. P's not a Benavidez fan, bro.
In the chat, Iceman says Benavidez looks small for 175. Morrell was much bigger. Well, I think they look the same, but
no, Benavidez looks bigger.
Yeah, but when Benavidez fought Gvozdyk, I did see a difference.
Yeah, well, they were saying that Zerdo looks small for 168. Do you remember when Zerdo, Gilberto Ramirez, originally was at 168? They were saying he was a small 168, and they were saying, Zerdo's at 168 for too long. And then when he steps up to 175, they go, he's too small for 175. And then when Zerdo goes to cruiserweight, this is garbage, man. I don't believe a word what people say. This is all lies. Yeah.
When I saw Opataya was going to fight this other random guy, I thought Zerdo was going to fight Benavidez for sure. I thought that's what's going on.
Yeah, I think Zerdo probably... What, Zerdo Benavidez?
Yeah, he already said he wants to do it.
He said it last month, any.
It's a big.
I watched that on the fucking. I watched that shit. I think Benavidez will cap. He won't be fighting Zerdo for nothing. Zerdo will kill that guy. That's a stupid fight. Yeah.
Teach you how to use cap. Just say he's cap. You don't have to say he's going to cap or he's going to cap. Just say he's cap. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What are you talking about?
No, he keeps. I'm not trying to be funny, but when he said, "Well, he's going to cap," and I'm like, "Oh, I mean, that's the English in him." I'm not mad at him, but I'm just like, "No, bro, it's just cap." But he's good. He's good. God bless him.
Y'all talking about David Benavidez, right?
Yeah.
So y'all seen that video where he talks about how he met his wife?
Yeah, he met her at ATM.
Where he says he was pulling some money out the ATM, and he looked to his left, and there she was, and it was like,
he's a piece of shit.
He's a sucker.
It was pathetic, bro. It was pathetic.
Yeah.
So they've been together for a couple years, and I was wondering, Busho, I guarantee you this girl's at least like 4 years older than him, 5 years older than him, right? And I go to look on Google to see how old she is, and Google doesn't say. Her age it says it's discreet. I guarantee you this bitch is 35.
Yeah.
But the crazy part is, like, you can't even tell your friends you met her at a store, at a club, like you met her at the ATM. Like, what a dope! Like, this guy's.
Yeah, but the thing is,
what girls just hang around the ATM looking for dudes? Like,
she's waiting for it,
I can tell you exactly how this. I can tell you exactly how the story went. He went to the ATM. He flexed.
Yeah.
And like I said, if she must have did something that he probably he couldn't let go, or he couldn't let anybody else have. So that's what that was about.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, but if you got all that money, you can get any woman from anywhere in the world. Why would you go with an American woman if you were rich, bro? Those bitches gonna be on your case 24/7. See, say he was like a rich guy, millions of pounds boxer. You wouldn't be going out with somebody from your same area in the UK or USA, would you really? You get someone that's a bit stupid. It's like you wouldn't be going out with some money grabber, bro. But
yeah.
Well, that's but arenas, they always talk about this in this podcast, because those guys, this basketball, they have money and stuff like that. Like, when you have money, the word no really doesn't exist in your life, and she's going to do whatever she can to secure the baby.
Yeah,
and then she's going to leave, and then she's going to leave you after a while because maybe it wasn't ever really loved it because she's set for life after that.
Of course.
There's no love with like a Western woman. You don't go out with Western woman for love, bro. Trust me, bro.
It's about business. It's a financial.
Now listen, bro.
It's a financial relationship.
That's why the whole world speaks English, bro. The whole world speaks the pidgin language, bro. Because when we went abroad, bro,
English.
Yo, listen, bro. We know the score, bro. We know the score, bro.
Boxers are terrible. Boxers are terrible at getting wives. Like, how many times Muhammad Ali got married? A couple
guys. No, he got married like 8 times, bro.
Boxers are terrible. Floyd. The smartest thing Floyd never ever did was not to get married. That's the smartest thing he ever did. Honestly.
I thought you were gonna say murder his baby mama, but never mind.
Oh God! No.
Floyd couldn't read the contract to get married, bro. That's why he never did it.
What do you think? Like Mayweather or Pacquiao was the greatest fighter between the two of them? Who would you say?
Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Sure.
I do think. Do you think his shoulder was gone in the? Listen, Bucho, have you ever scored back? Have you ever scored back the Floyd against Pacquiao fight?
No, but I remember the first time I watched it.
Pacquiao won, bro.
Close. It was a draw in my
opinion.
I had it as a draw.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you go to BoxRec and look at like what was going on in CompuBox, if you go to CompuBox for like punches landed, I think like what Sobers was just gonna say, like he double out punch Floyd. I don't understand how Mayweather won the fight. I'm being objective and being honest now. Like people always think me as capping, but I don't cap. He double punched him out the whole fight.
Yeah, he
did.
And he had him stunned. He had him stunned a few times.
He had him stunned. Yeah, he had him stunned twice, 3 times. I don't understand that fight. I don't understand that.
Opinion, that was MGM, man. MGM. He's the home guy. He's the A side. That's why he got the decision.
Well, of course, and it was and it was a sparring match, like literally, like it was an overhyped sparring match. That fight was like, it was like for those two, for them to be who they are, for them to be who they are, that fight was very lackluster. I'd say a B-, maybe a C+, just because of the fact of Mayweather and Pacquiao shared a ring. But other than that, like nothing about that fight was like, in my opinion, I just thought it was nasty.
You know what's funny too, to add on to that fight? Earlier I seen a post about Floyd Mayweather. He was watching the Marquez Pacquiao knockout, their fourth fight. And he's like, oh, Floyd rewatching the Pacquiao Marquez knockout. But I'm thinking, like, dude, I've said this before, bro, and I'll say it again. Like, that Marquez knocking out Manny Pacquiao is the biggest win on Floyd Mayweather's record. He takes that like it was a win for him, bro. He won't rewatch his fight with Manny Pacquiao. He'll watch somebody else knock him out and then be happy about that.
Bro, I've seen stuff like that. Like, I seen Mayweather, like, Twitter posts where he's, like, rewatching, like, Duran. He's watching anything but himself.
Oh, of course.
Facts. He used to love Roberto Duran, like Chavez.
Yeah, he loves the guy.
He loves Chavez, and like then he criticizes him. Like Floyd Mayweather's fucked up, bro.
But a lot of guys didn't watch themselves. Like I don't think Marvelous. It depends like what kind of fighter you were. Because if you were just dominant most of the time, I don't think Marvelous. Like maybe it's like when you're about to face somebody, where it's like where there's equal danger. But a lot of guys don't watch themselves.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah, the Hagler fight against Sugar Ray Leonard is probably in. We can always discuss like the fight against Tommy Hearns and everything, but we all know how that went. But the main one was the Sugar Ray Leonard fight against Hagler. That was iconic in not really in sports history, like in the whole of. Listen, if you put the whole of your worldly thoughts into your head, yeah. You're going to think 9/11, you're going to think the Gulf War, you're going to think whatever sport you was involved, and then you will think of the Tommy Hearns fight against Hagler or the Hagler fight against Sugar Ray Leonard. It was epic. Even though I cap a lot, them fights were amazing, man. And it's just what it is. Marvin Hagler was a great fighter. He was a good fighter.
It's my favorite fight. My favorite.
I think he beat Leonard.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
I do too. I strongly feel that way. I've watched that fight many times, and I felt like Leonard got away with it because he did the shoes. He stole the rounds at the end. Hagler had he had better ring generalship throughout the fight. And he controlled a lot of the pace of that fight, and he landed really good shots. And the only reason I think Leonard got that fight was the shoe shining and stealing the thunder at the end of the round. That's what I was.
It was a well thought out plan because I forgot what fight he was watching when Hagler, but it was when he had retired, but he thought like Hagler had just missed a step, or maybe it was just a fight, and that's when he took the fight. And you're right about the shoe shining. Like it was like after the last 30 seconds of the fight, then he'll come alive, and then the rest of the fight is just holding and running, doing nothing pretty much. That fight was a shit fight too. I didn't really like that.
Yeah, man. Like basically, I think Sugar Ray, like if you watch the Ham Show fight against Hagler, it's like a Syrian guy, and I think it's 1982 or something. I think like Sugar Ray Leonard was focusing too much on the Ham Show fight, the Syrian guy, when he was. What happened in that fight is that like he was trying to attack Hagler on the back end of the fight to outbox him and to speed him up in the last 30 seconds. And I think that's what happened. Sugar Ray Leonard was too fast in the last 30 seconds of all those rounds. And if I score it back, I think that Hagler still won the fight though on aggression because Sugar Ray Leonard didn't really hurt Hagler. You know, he didn't even touch him. Didn't even touch the guy.
Oh, Sugar Ray Leonard lost to who?
Hagler.
To Hagler, yeah.
Are y'all
Sugar Ray
serious?
Leonard
Or y'all just saying that? Is this serious or trolling?
No, I'm being serious because like he didn't really do anything for the first two and a half minutes of the fight. If you watch the fight back, the whole fight, for the first 2.5 minutes, Sugar Ray Leonard was on his feet, bro. He was
there's
running.
a documentary. There's a documentary on YouTube. It's called Legendary Fights. They document the Leonard and Hagler fight. I want you to watch that. And then after you watch it, your mind should change on who won.
No. You're trying to put narrative into my mind. I've seen the fight like 50 times, bro.
Say something.
I'm an old guy.
The documentaries on YouTube.
Saunders just have the worst
documentaries, bro. I watched the fight, bro.
All you gotta do is just watch the documentary. What's the problem?
No,
all you gotta do is
saw the fight. The fight.
You're asking
Pigeon was at the fight. Come on.
You're asking me to get a third person
question. What part of the documentary?
But hold up. But I'm not watching the documentary, bro.
What part of the documentary?
Wait a minute.
But wait. What part of the documentary did you skip? Because they literally said like he was watching the fight. I forgot who Hagler was fighting, but Sugar Ray was in the crowd and he was watching this and he noticed that he thought honestly that Hagler took. Honestly, I think Hagler was just having a bad night. Like you're not your best every night, but he thought he had slipped. That's why he came out of retirement to fight him because he thought that he was kind of washed.
You're on about the Wilfred Benitez fight, bro. I think you're on about the fight.
Hold on. So when you said the documentary, like you said, like Sugar Ray was trying to cherry pick the guy and still made himself look stupid in the fight. Like he didn't get busy until the last 25, 30 seconds of each round, bro. Like,
it's a good fight. Yeah, no, listen, bro. I don't need to watch it. Like, I'll watch the fight. Listen, you're all right. You're all right.
When they were fighting, Hagler, who's a Hall of Famer, by the way, rest in peace. He passed away not too long ago. They were fighting. Sugar Ray Leonard was hitting him with counter shots.
You know I'm in my 50s, bro. I'm like an old guy, nearly 60 years old. Bro. I'm nearly 60, bro.
You're 60?
I'm in my mid 50s, bro. I'm an old guy, so yeah.
Let me direct it to the other panel members in. I'll speak to them then. Because you probably would know more than you think you. You probably would know way more. Like 70s and 80s. I'm more of a modern day guy. 80s and up.
No.
You probably know about the 60s, 70s and all that.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this though. To change the topic real quick. You older guy. In the 80s, heavyweight boxing was kind of like dry outside of Mike Tyson because all those great heavyweights
wasn't dry. No, you're wrong. No, you're not listening. You're not listening. You're just making assumptions. It was only dry from what you've just said. That only come out of your mouth. It was massive in England.
Tyson, who's like the top guy?
What are you on about? Are you on about belts or money in stadiums? You need to be more specific about what you're saying.
Okay, I guess you didn't hear me then. So I'll say it again.
No,
in the 1980s, Mike Tyson turned pro in 1985, right? Besides Mike Tyson, the heavyweight division was in like rebuild mode because all them old classic heavyweight fighters were old and retired. No, his first fight was in His first pro fight was in January '85. What I'm saying is,
but he got his pro license in the end of '84. You need to know that, bro.
His
you
first
get your license before you fight, bro.
Yeah, okay. So
carry on.
All right, whatever, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Must be a drinking night, but no. What I'm saying is,
wasn't dry. You had Larry Holmes. You had Shade.
The heavyweight division. I mean, Larry Holmes was kind of old around that time when he fought him. But besides Mike Tyson, the heavyweight division was kind of like
Mike Tyson didn't.
Late 80s, early 90s. That's when it blew up.
That was a good. No, that was a good era, bro. The early 80s. You had Burbank. That was a good era.
Heavyweight.
Yeah,
heavyweight?
one of the best eras. One of the best eras.
Besides Mike Tyson, Besides Mike Tyson, who was an elite level heavyweight during that time? Don't say Larry Holmes because he was old.
His Brooklyn running mate. His Brooklyn running mate from Brownsville.
There you go, Tony Tubbs.
That was like 89, 90. Riddick Bowe, that was like 89, 90. I'm talking about like the 80s, like 1980 all the way to 89.
We're going pre there. Tony Tubbs.
What's your point?
I think his phone is going in and out.
Holyfield?
Tony Tubbs won the gold medal, by the way. Tony Tubbs.
What are you getting at?
He was elite. You think he was elite level? I'm talking about elite, like guys that are just that dude.
Yeah, well, Tony Tubbs won the gold medal, but Tyson was a different breed of animal. Tyson was a different breed, bro. Tyson was a different. You're on about an era that's
all the
Tyson
80s heavyweights. All the 80s heavyweights will trash all the heavyweights now. Going back from 2012 all the way towards now. Everybody in the 80s smack like anybody who didn't get a belt, they can win a belt in this era for sure.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I wouldn't disagree with that.
I even think Pinkland Thomas, like, even though I'm a lot older than you, but Pinkland Thomas, I think even he would have won a belt. Nah. Yeah, you're right. It was a good era. It was a good era, bro. You're spot on there. You're spot on, my man.
The 90s was the 90s and the early 2000s. That was like the king of the heavyweight. The 80s was kind of like building up to that, besides Mike Tyson. The 90s, that's when it was going down because Holyfield was a cruiserweight in the 80s. Then he became a heavyweight. Then he was the guy. Mike went to prison. Then you had Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe, Michael Moore, Foreman.
We need to address this. I know Bucho's gonna get angry, bro. Bucho's gonna get angry at Mr. Pigeon, bro.
Why?
But can I just say one thing, bro? I think Mike Tyson was innocent, bro. Listen.
Yeah, I think
why would I get mad? I've said it multiple times. Yeah, of course.
Listen, bro. If you've been dating a bitch for all these years, yeah, and he's been like, you've been going out with this Desiree Washington for years, and you go up to a man's room at 3 a.m. Come on, bro.
Yeah,
you from the UK?
What you gonna expect, man?
Yeah.
You from the UK?
Bro. Yeah, I'm from the UK, bro. But listen, I'm just saying that let's go back to the 80s, back to that time. And if she was going up to that guy's room at 3 a.m. in the morning and she's his girlfriend, yeah, this guy's like a black heavyweight champion of the world. His testosterone must be through the roof. He's going to be ripping her panties off and fucking her on the spot, bro. Come on, bro.
You sure we should be talking about that on this channel?
Maybe we shouldn't be calling. Maybe we should be talking about this.
Yeah.
Fucking we're condoning.
But I think Tyson should. I think Mike Tyson should actually be taking that conviction to court, reversing it, bro.
Yeah, listen, as much as I love Tyson, like he was never the same. Like once he peaked and Customato died, and like I think he peaks. There's like even though you can be in your prime, you can peak at different times. But I do remember the old head saying like Customato always told him to stay away from George Foreman. Because I still think I think George would have put Tyson on his ass. I think Holyfield would have outboxed Tyson. Tyson was good. I forgot the guy for 8 rounds. There's another guy. He was like short and stout, just like Tyson. I forgot this guy's name. It slips me at the moment. That shit was crazy. But Tyson was kind of who?
Yeah,
David Tua.
No. It was a dark skinned brother. It was a dark brother. I forgot his name. Oh, it slips in my mind just now.
Bert Cooper.
think so, but Tyson was a little bit protected though at this. I mean, he fought some guys or whatever, but they kept him away from they said they kept him away from Foreman and a couple other guys. I mean,
well, I'll be honest with you.
You wouldn't think he would have lost to Foreman?
George Foreman said that he didn't want to fight Mike Tyson. He actually said it.
George was being nice.
George, to respond to that dude, you think Tyson would have lost to George Foreman?
Yes, and George was being nice. All George had to do was just touch you. Like, it was just different. Like, you can do a lot. Only reason why Muhammad Ali beat Foreman, first of all, they prolonged the fight like 2 weeks, and then like Foreman had got cut because of a cut or whatever. It was real hot that day, and Foreman really should not have just try to bulldoze this guy over. There's a reason why he didn't get a rematch. But like, cause Tyson, like Foreman's the best heavyweight that ever lived. Everybody that Ali fought.
You seriously think Foreman would have beat Tyson? I might agree with you if you said like the 70s version of Foreman. There might be some agreement there. But when Tyson was fighting, Foreman was kind of older. You really think he would have beat Tyson? You're serious?
Otto told him himself to stay away from this man. Yes, like Foreman is one of those guys you can't really hurt. Like, he's never really like literally, like, you had to be like a Ron Lyles or something like that to put this man on his ass. Like, it was like this man made my mentor.
Good technique though, man.
He had got on his side. By the way, I want to read a super chat from Pugily Sign. Thank you for your super chat. He says, 90s heavyweight boxing was the most entertaining. Golada craziness, Knights of the Heavyweights, the Fan Man. Yeah, pretty crazy stuff happened in those fucking fights. Riots, yeah.
Hey, Bucho, did you hear what happened to the Fan Man?
No, what happened?
They beat him up.
He died of cancer. He died of cancer about 5 years ago, that guy. Rest in peace to him.
Yeah, what a legend. What a legend.
Yeah.
Bucha, that's a good video idea right there. Just recapping the 90s heavyweights, like the craziness.
Oh no, Rumi's Corner made an amazing video fucking years ago.
What?
I like that guy, Rummy Corner, right?
Rumi's Corner.
What if a legend, bro?
What if there was more Ukrainian? What if there was more Ukrainian and Russian fighters like in the 80s that were they were allowed to fight over here? Like, we think that would have changed like the trajectory of the history of the game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
For sure.
But they don't let the Chinese in either. They don't let the
they
Chinese.
Don't have any boxers, man. They don't have any.
Chinese would maybe, but I'll tell you what. I'll tell you one thing. You don't know about boxing, but if it was a fight on the street, bro, Chinese, you don't know about no silly boxing rules, bro. Chinese, don't underestimate them, bro. That's where you get your sneakers from, bro.
No, listen. You go to China. You go to Chinatown, Philly. You cut up down there if you want to, boy. I'm trying to tell you, they'll cut you up. All of them. They'll come out there. They'll cut you up.
I went to Chinatown. And there was like Chinese flying, and they had electricity, like electrical powers, and like that movie.
Yeah, well, people.
Wait, hold on.
People underestimate them, bro.
Super chat from Rapa's Trucking Company. He says Mike declined when he left the Whitey Brain Trust. What was the Whitey Brain? Yeah. I don't know. I think he declined.
Nah, he was still involved with them after that, bro. Yeah, I don't think he understands, bro. He was still involved with the Whitey Brain Trust after, bro. He got involved with even more. Let me just put this out. More after that, so that guy's wrong. So he used to train in my gym. Like, there used to be a gym like where I used to box, and like Tyson used to come down and train with Joe Egan, like the boxing gym I used to box in. He's come down and boxed, like trained there for like 7 years. With Whitey, bro.
Do you feel like British boxing now has more of an opportunity to show itself in the US?
Because I'm not really that fussed, man. Like, I'm a man of the world, bro. I'm a man of the world, bro. Like, I live in the UK, but
Oh, fuck, you're a citizen of the world? You're a citizen of the world. Okay.
I'm a citizen of the world, bro. Listen, bro. Listen, bro. Like,
what do you sound like, John
I
Lennon?
don't really follow.
You sound like John Lennon.
Listen, bro. Listen, bro. If you could get me, if you could get me some like Japanese pussy, bro, I'll love you forever, bro. Hey, Yoko Ono, bro.
I'll get you some.
No, I've been drinking all day. I've been drinking. I've been in the casino all day, bro.
I remember when they kicked you out. Didn't they kick you out of the casino once? Remember?
Like,
Yo, Pigeon. Didn't they?
Yeah, man.
They kicked you out. Yeah.
Yeah, they fucking kicked me out. Do you remember? I was mentioning that to my aunt yesterday. Those motherfuckers kicked me out the casino. Do you remember that? That was about 5 years ago. Those fucking
on
pieces of shit, bro.
You were filming from the outside.
I had to go. I'm allowed back in now, but I've got a fake passport, bro. I've got a fake passport, and I'm a Romanian citizen now, bro. When I go back in the casino.
Someone tells me you've never broken a law in your life.
Did you get it from the Albanians or what?
No, bro. No. I'm just capping, bro. Capping, bro. I'm lying.
He said I'm lying. He said I'm lying.
What was that? Somebody said it.
I'm capping, bro. He said I'm capping, bro.
Fucking pussy, motherfucker. Hey,
you don't believe anything that comes from my mouth.
I'm gonna fuck you out right now, motherfucker.
Hey, what's this legal stuff that Errol Spence Jr. Is Errol Spence Jr. involved in that case with that rapper in Texas with Yellow Beezy or something? I heard like he's under investigation for some of that shit or something like that.
Yeah, it was put on the internet yesterday. So like that Yellow Beezy thing with like fucking Spence. Yeah, it's going down. It's trying to sue him or some shit. So yeah, it's going on.
Wait, what happened in that case?
Errol's a dickhead. Not because Errol's, he's always with the alleged person that paid for Mo 3 to get killed or whatever.
Yeah.
He walked him to the ring. He did his little song. He's a little light skinned boy or whatever. But I don't know too much about it because I think he's a little dumb, but whatever. But I'm hearing that Errol's also under investigation because he knew what was going on, or something, or he didn't report. Because nowadays you get in trouble if you're around something if you didn't tell it or if you had intel about it. Because they check your phone and everything. They was like, yeah, I got him. Like, so, like, let's say, like, if I just did something and I hit Quags and I text Quags, yeah, I just did it, whatever. And Quags knew I did it and he didn't say anything, he can get in trouble too. So I don't think Errol was, like, involved, like, particularly, but I think, like, he's involved by association or something like that.
Yeah, but the thing is just, like, Spence, yeah, he goes to the nightclubs around there and all the bars and shit, so he's obviously friends with all those like rappers and people like that, so there's gonna be shit. So, it's what it is, bro.
That's why he got beat up. He was trying to be a rapper and trying to live that life, and then he got beat up, like looking like the Martin meme and shit. Remember when Martin fought Tommy Hearns and shit? Like he looked just like that guy.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like that night that he got blasted up in his fucking Ferrari or Lamborghini, it was like Lambo and shit. When he fucking went to that fucking bullshit.
That is the biggest. He is the biggest fraud. Errol Spence is the biggest fraud in the ever. Like he was the paper champ. You hear me? You could get a paper cut from this paper champ. You hear me? Like this bull was trash. Like everything he did was very rudimentary. He never grew. It'd have been a draw with him and what's the guy? Had it not been for the knockdown? Like he beat up.
Oh yeah.
He beat up Damaged Goods. Well, actually, he was losing to Kell Brook, but Kell Brook's face was already cracked. So literally, that's probably he was Damaged Goods fight, but he was beating Errol Spence. He beat old Lamont Peterson. He beat a little Mikey, and Mikey was holding his own. Mikey was boxing his ass off. He was surviving, but Mikey was holding his own. Like literally, Errol Spence is the biggest hype job ever known to man in box. Like literally, he is trash, super trash.
I remember the night on the BDA channel. I remember the night on here, bro, when he got lit up when he crashed his Lamborghini and shit. He crashed his Lamborghini into the wall and shit like that, and it was fucking. Nobody give a shit about that guy. To be fair, it was just a.
Well, a lot of guys picked him to beat Crawford. I mean.
Not I.
No, I know. I picked Crawford. I was sure Crawford was going to win, but even the odds were close.
Gonzalo said it. I remember Gonzalo said that fight.
Yeah.
He predicted the fight.
That was Vegas. That was Vegas because the house always wins. Because remember, like Errol Spence is the darling, pause. Like, I'm not judging him, but supposedly he's the handsome guy. Like he was supposed to be like the new Sugar Ray in a sense. Like they were trying to like mold him in that figure. Like he's fighting in the Dallas Cowboys Stadium and all that. Like now and you look at Crawford. Crawford's the villain. This is black mug, ugly little like always looking at you with the side eye. Just ready. Like literally, like he was painted as the villain, and when Errol got his at, like the world got a wake up call. When like I was like, watch, because my nephews were like, look, Errol's gonna do this. I'm like, all right, watch this, and I was confident. I was like, I didn't think it was gonna be a total beatdown, but I thought we was gonna see it. Man, look, he mopped this boy. You hear me? He mopped the floor with that. Mopped the floor with that fraud.
If you watch the fourth round onwards, like Crawford goes like weak on that guy. To like let him off. So like the whole fight against like Spence, you need to watch it back. Like I've been watching it back, and I just think like Crawford kind of knew that he'd won, and he kind of just fucking. He could have done him some real damage, like in that fight. I think Spence got off light in his car crash and the Crawford fight, bro. Bad time, bruh. Bracket time, bruh.
Never going to see Errol Spence Jr. box again. Mark my words. I'm willing to cash app anybody that wants to bet me on that. He's never fighting again. He hasn't fought since
that
the beat.
Bucho ain't doing shit. That Bucho ain't doing shit. That nigger ain't gonna fucking do shit. He's gonna come back. He's gonna try and get that Furman fight. He ain't gonna do shit, bruh. He wants the Furman shit. He ain't gonna get non-demanding come. He ain't getting that. He wants the Furman fight. Do you know what? I hope Furman knocks him out, bro.
No, kill him. Listen, they need to tell Errol. Errol's done. Like, first of all, he hasn't even had any easy fights, no tune-up fights. He hasn't had nothing. Like this guy at this point, he's gonna go in there and get himself killed or get himself hurt. Like literally, like I don't think that he's even from those accidents and different things. I don't even think he's healthy. Mind you, he's been drinking and all those. So like you in your youth, you have to put investments in your body so your body can like stand the test. Like Hopkins, even what Crawford's doing at the moment. Errol he's smoking, he's drinking, he's having a good time, he's eating all types of bullshit.
He's not on the level of the B-Hop, bro. Listen, Bernard Hopkins was levels, bro. I was like, on that level, bro.
I think Crawford could last as long as B-Hop. Well, we'll see. That's just, I'm not totally sure, but I think he could. But Errol was never like, Errol was nothing. Like I couldn't stand Errol. Like people thought I hated his haircut. It looked like he cut his own hair. That shit looked trash. Like everything about that. Bull was corny and shit. I couldn't stand Errol. I could not stand. Like
there was a metamorphosis. He started to change the hair. He got all those tattoos. So he was like, I don't know.
Tooth? Yeah.
Tooth. By the way,
he kind of looked like a big tooth.
He reminds me of Devin Haney. He wanted to be loved and accepted by the other porch monkeys and all that. He wanted
Let's not get it. Okay, let's read a super chat. Pugilist sign. Thank you for your super chat. He says Crawford versus Spence looked over before it started.
Yeah, man, that's a crazy fight.
I don't understand how it was a complete mismatch. And by the way, talking about Crawford, what's happening with this guy? Because he fought Crawford in the summer of 2023. The summer of 2023. He hasn't fought since then. And they're still talking about him fighting.
Hey, Bucho.
Yeah.
Hey, Bucho, I think Crawford is turning into fucking Kell Brook, bro. This is like a Kell Brook GGG.
Whoa! But you know what? But Kell Brook was still in his prime when he fought Golovkin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
This is crazy.
This guy's 36. How old? No, how old is Crawford? 35.
He's
37.
37. 37.
No,
He's 37.
37.
Are you kidding me?
37. He's like, he's what?
Yeah, he's
if
fucking
anybody's
dumb.
seeing this, if anybody is seeing this other than a cash out, like look at Amir Khan. After he fought Canelo, he had like what 3 fights after that, but it was just some little quick cash. But he was never the same. Like everybody that fights Canelo usually everybody that fights Canelo is never the same. It's usually a cash out. We got
Billy DB.
We got Charlo. The only one that hasn't cashed out is Plant. Plant, I'll give him the credit, but Charlo, everybody that's fought Canelo literally cashed out, and you haven't heard from him.
Hasn't fought since, bro.
You haven't heard from him since.
No. Hey, by the way,
they wanted them back.
You know what's gonna hurt Spence Jr.'s career? The fact that he didn't have a fight right after he lost to Crawford. You know, a fight against somebody else just to redeem himself, just to show, you know what, it was a bad night, because it looks like. This looks like he was exposed, basically, you know, and he hasn't redeemed himself. And if he doesn't redeem himself, his career is gonna have a huge fucking stain.
It always had a stain. He started at 154, but they noticed but it's not a good idea to keep him up there, so they moved him at 147. Then they shrunk him. He was literally killing himself to stay at 147 his whole welterweight career.
Yeah, kind of like a pussy. Like a pussy. If
you would think, actually, technically, like Errol Smith should be fighting at like 160 at this point, like at his career, like he should be at 160. He's a big dude, literally. So he's always been a weight bully. You know what I'm saying? Like fighting a guy that came up two divisions just to give him like literally just to have, literally like Spence is oh my gosh, I can't stand him.
Look, look, man, it's a typical PBC
Me
fighter.
neither, bro. I mean. Yeah, I detest Spence.
All the PBC guys, they eventually get exposed.
For sure.
They just like roll up like that Rashidi Ellis. Remember that fucking piece of shit, bro? Rashidi Ellis, that fucking scumbag, bro. Fuck that guy.
Even his team.
That's what they do. That they cut.
I'm sorry, brother.
He's cutting off because his connection's fucked.
He's too drunk, man. He's too drunk.
He's too drunk. That's why. No,
what did Rashidi
No, carry on, bro.
You're cutting off, man. You're cutting off. That's why.
No, my connection should be okay. Is my connection okay?
Now it's good. Now it's good.
Man, is my connection bad? Oh,
now it's okay.
Oh shit, bro. I better go, bro. Can you still hear me, bro? I'm a bit. Oh man, my career, my internet career is like Tyson Fury's boxing career, bro.
It's over.
Damn.
Bad.
Hey, talking about Tyson Fury, man,
crazy.
Like another guy that's pretty much his career has a huge stain now.
Yeah. His career is not great at the moment. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Should be able to hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
What would you rate his career at this point? Because, like, to me, I'll say maybe a B+. Like, beating Deontay, I mean, you beat an old Klitschko. Beating Deontay really is nothing to me. That isn't really nothing. And then you lost to Usyk twice convincingly. Like, he's so what would you rate his career at this point?
A B.
I'll give him a B+. B+. B+.
Give him a B.
I think Dubois would beat him right now. I think Dubois would beat him right now.
Yeah.
I give him. I mean, let's look at the good things about his career, the bad ones, the good ones. He beat Klitschko. He beat Wilder after coming back from that coke binge layoff. He beat Dylan White. A good contender, I guess. That's pretty much it. Let's look at the bad things.
That's it.
Wilder's like Wilder.
The bad things is he didn't really fight a lot of top elite boxers. Joshua has a better resume than Tyson Fury, right?
Yes,
for sure.
Yes.
So AJ, so Fury didn't even do what AJ did. So he gets points deducted from that. And then losing not only to Usyk, but a cruiserweight. And I know Usyk is a special fighter, but he's still a cruiserweight. He's still much smaller. And Fury lost twice, clearly. that you have to take points away from that. For that,
Joshua had a better performance than Fury against Usyk.
Exactly, the second fight, of course, and then also Fury against Ngannou. He looked like shit. I don't care if you didn't train for that fight, whatever. You're fighting a UFC fighter. Look at what AJ did to Ngannou. That's what Fury should have done.
Yeah.
B minus. B minus. B minus.
B minus.
Yeah. B minus is good. B minus is good.
And I'm laughing because it's funny because some people thought that he was an A+ fighter, like some legend. He really wasn't.
No, man. Because beating a Wilder, in hindsight, it's not that much, man. He was the biggest hype job there was.
Yeah.
Wilder is like that one girl you're ashamed to admit to your body count. You know what I'm saying? Like, you won't tell nobody. You won't tell nobody what you do. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Like Wilder, that's another. Like to this day, I can't stand it.
Yeah, his record was the most padded, man.
Bermain Stavern, that was crazy. That guy, man. That guy. I don't know how he.
Yeah.
And had King Kong, had Ortiz been a little bit younger, about 2 years younger, I thought he'd have got Deontay out of there. But but Ortiz was a little bit old at the time.
I agree, man. Against Ngannou, he should have done a lot. He should have done a lot better. He got exposed against Ngannou. Fury. I think.
I don't know if he should have lost, but he looked pretty bad. I mean, he got dropped. Just that is embarrassing.
He got dropped by a MMA guy.
Yeah, who's slow as fuck.
Yep. And then AJ goes on to knock the guy out. What, 2-3 rounds?
Like easy. Like easy.
Would AJ and Fury fight would still pull good numbers? Don't you think?
Yeah, he would.
He'd pull good numbers. I'd pick AJ in like what? I'd pick AJ in 12.
You know what? They'd sell out Wembley without issue. They would sell out Wembley still.
They need each other. I think I said maybe.
Wembley? Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember Kell Brook against Samir Khan apparently sold out some, I don't know which arena, but it was a big fight apparently.
No, man, the Brits they turn out for their fighters.
Yeah.
That would be a nice. I mean, honestly, between the both of them, I don't know what AJ's plans are as far as title contention. But if they want to like go on a nice retirement, a nice little pension run like that'll run it up. They'll run it up really good.
Yeah, should happen for both of their legacies. It should happen.
We're talking about hundreds of millions of pounds, literally. Like
yeah, for sure. They'd be stupid not to do this.
Yeah. All right, maybe we should end the show. It's been like more
than 3 hours. Who wins that fight?
3 hours.
Huh?
Who wins that fight? Tyson or Joshua?
Jesus Christ.
Joshua, round 10. Fury's legs is done for. He's been carrying that truck around all his life. Like you're like 6'10" and you're carrying like 300. Like he's been carrying. Like so those knees, like he can't move like he wants to, whatever. And it depends it also depends what Joshua comes to fight. If Joshua comes there, like ready, like literally just, I don't know if he just comes ready to do what he's gonna do. I think he can put his lights out in round 10.
All right, guys, we're gonna end the show.
No more single.
We're gonna end the show.
All right, guys.
But you can stay and keep on.
All right, sirs.
All right. Guys, thank you for joining the panel. We'll see you next time, all right? Take care. Everybody on YouTube, thank you for joining us. We should be having more shows. I mean, we were kind of busy also working on a documentary. So, and we don't really have any big fights, let's be honest. I mean, Fundora against this guy that I forgot his fucking name. Nobody cares. But we will have big fights eventually. We will have more shows. So do not worry. Make sure you like and subscribe and check out our Discord, link in the description. And yep, we'll see you next time. Take care.
Listos pelos chingazos. Listos pelos chingazos.
fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's gotta be Pebble.